There is a black sedan in which Droupadi Murmu is inside, and she has left Rajghat. She is going to Rashtrapati Bhavan. This is what we have been told. The convoy is taking U-turn from the Rajghat main gate and is going to go to Rashtrapati Bhavan. There she is going to meet President Ramnath Kovind. They both will have tea together, and then they are likely to leave for they are scheduled to leave for Parliament building in a motorcade procession. This is what the itinerary that has been released by Rashtrapati Bhavan yesterday tell us. And at around 10:15, the ceremonies at the Parliament Central Hall will begin. The MPs, MLAs, leaders from the tribal belt, chief ministers, all have been invited to witness this historic moment. Prime Minister, CJI, Chief Justice of India, Vice President, Chairman of Rajya Sabha, the Speaker of Lok Sabha, they all will be present to witness this grand ceremony where Droupadi Murmu will take oath of office and secrecy today. Back to the studios.
Siddhant, tell our audiences more here. I want to explain to our audiences the significance of each thing that we're seeing. You were saying right now that the president-elect has left Rajghat now. She's heading, as you said earlier, to Rashtrapati Bhavan, where she'll be meeting the current president, Ramnath Kovind. They'll be sitting, they'll be getting tea together before they head into the ceremony. Walk our audiences through what the next few hours will look like. And as you go, if you could explain the importance and the significance of each ceremony that we'll be seeing taking place.
Well, that's right, Toya. Next few hours are going to be historic in all sense. Not just how the Rashtrapati Bhavan and the government has planned this event.
Take oath as 15th president of the country is a historic moment in itself, and this is perhaps the reason that the ceremonies are going to be the same ceremonies that happens every time the new president takes over. But this time excitement is more. This time enthusiasm is more. This time emotions are flowing. Why? Because she comes from Adivasi community. Why? Because she comes from humble background. Because she represents the aspirations of Adivasi communities of the country, and that makes this moment very special. And this is perhaps the reason that since last 4 days, not just Indian media but international media have also been covering this victory of Droupadi Murmu, and everyone has been talking about it. That how India, this great democracy, the largest democracy of the world, has given 15th president who comes from Adivasi community when India is celebrating Azadi Ke Amrit Mahotsav. So this movement is grand because of that. Now the ceremonies will begin at around 10:15. Going by the schedule that we have received from Rashtrapati Bhavan, Rashtrapati Ramnath Kovind, along with Rashtrapati-elect Droupadi Murmu, will leave Rashtrapati Bhavan for Parliament building at around 10 a.m. in a full motorcade procession and full protocols. And in fact, they will reach the Parliament building, where they will be received by Chief Justice of India, Speaker of Lok Sabha, Chairman of Rajya Sabha, Prime Minister. All these dignitaries will receive Rashtrapati and Rashtrapati-elect. Then the oath-taking ceremony will begin at the Central Hall in Parliament, where all these dignitaries will witness the historic moment. Then when oath-taking will get over, then she'll be requested to sign a book which will be next to the dais, and in fact she is also expected to deliver a speech. This is what we have been told. So in fact till 1 p.m. the Parliament building is completely sealed. The houses are not going to be functional till 1 p.m. because and in fact the journalists are also not allowed. The entire building has completely been sealed by the authorities, because till 1 p.m. The oath-taking ceremony will get over. Once oath-taking will get over, then Parliament will return to the normal business. This is what we have been. So, as I said, that the ceremonies the protocol, the procession is going to be a routine one, which Rashtrapati gets. But the moment is special because she comes from Adivasi community. The emotions are flowing because she comes from a humble background. And as an Indian, every Indian is proud because we talk of upliftment of Adivasi community. We talk of, of equal rights. But when we go to villages and other places, we still see that situation is completely different. Here, standing in the national capital, everyone talks about. But this.
All right, for our audiences, the visuals you can see behind you that we're playing out for you. President-elect Droupadi Murmu at Rajghat just a few minutes ago. Remember, these aren't fresh visuals. As we speak right now, she's already making her way to Rashtrapati Bhavan, where, as we told you a little while earlier, she'll be drinking tea with the current president before heading into the swearing-in ceremony. Remember, Droupadi Murmu, once she's elected president, will be the head of state. She will be the country's first citizen, as it's called. She can actually be re-elected to this position, though we've only seen one president happen twice. We've not seen that get repeated since Rajendra Prasad. My colleague Pallavi Ghosh, our senior editor, she's with us right now. We're going to get a lot more context on how today is historic. We'll go over to her now. Pallavi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Pallavi, you've covered the Parliament, the Lok Sabha for years now. And one of the things the President will be is the President will be summoning the House of Parliament at least twice a year. That's one of her many responsibilities. Could you tell us a little bit more about what the President looks over?
Well, every session of Parliament, a fresh session, I would say, if it is a budget session or a monsoon session, begins with a presidential speech. And what she does and he does, has in the past, of course, outlines the agenda of the government. So therefore, whenever the president gets up to speak, you're going to hear words like, my government is going to do this, because the president is the head of the state. He's the head of the country. And the government owes its allegiance, the cabinet owes its allegiance to the president. If you go by the Constitution of India, it very clearly mentions that as long as they enjoy the confidence of the president, which is why when we talk about stuff like president's rule, we talk about governor's rule, the ultimate arbiter is always the president. But just moving away from what the presidential norm has been, because, and also a quick tidbit, of course, is that every beginning of a fresh session of Parliament begins with his entire cavalcade, and I think that really captures the beauty of what the presidential office is all about. Well, right behind me, you can, despite the barricades, you can see that this majestic, what's called the North Block, the South Block, which reads up to the Rashtrapati Bhavan. In fact, when we were coming down over here, we are already seeing, the armed forces, the paramilitary forces, and entire arrangements which are being made to escort the president's cavalcade right from here to the Parliament House. So what normally happens is that an outgoing president hands over charge to the President of India, the new President of India, and actually it's done very literally. You know, he gets up from his chair, makes the new president, sits down on the chair which he's vacating for the new president, and this is after the oath take place. And as we were pointing out, what happens when the new president, the president-elect, actually this is Droupadi Murmu, enters Parliament, she's of course going to be greeted by the entire cabinet, and over there a short ceremony of oath which is given by the Chief Justice of India, and then of course he signs the Gazette, because that's where the notification comes in, and it's after that a short speech is expected to be delivered by then the new president. We already saw yesterday, Toya, for example, the tributes which are paid to the outgoing President COVID, summed up by a very emotive speech which he gave. He talked about that how his nomination, Droupadi Murmu's nomination, is actually a sense of non-entitlement. How people from very humble backdrop can have that audacity of hope to actually rise up to the highest office in our country. And I think that's what a brief ceremony, which is going to be very colorful, which is going to be very ceremonial. And Toya, in a short while from now, you're going to start seeing those pictures, captures the color of the Indian Constitution and the Republic.
Thank you. Stay with us. For our audiences, our country's first tribal president, second female president, going to be sworn in less than 2 hours from now. Right now, it's time for a short break, but we are covering the story on the other side too. We'll see you in just a second.
Everyone can only put one leg up at a time. If you put both legs up simultaneously, you will fall.
Exactly, Bire. That's what happened to Boris Johnson.
Achha, you set me up for that. Excellent. Well done, sir. Well played. Left hand and right hand together. Coming to that, they were once best mates, Rishi and Boris, and now hate each other.
Oh, hello, oi. Eknath Shinde used to call Uddhav Thackeray Sahab.
Ah, that's correct.
Now he doesn't even take his calls. Tu mainu das raha yaar, come on.
That's true. And Boris Johnson told his colleagues to back anyone at all except Rishi Sunak.
Bhai, oh, Vire, worse. He even told Rishi Sunak to not support Rishi Sunak. Allah.
He told Rishi Sunak not to support Rishi Sunak. It's like that guy in my ear who keeps coming and saying, I've left Shiv Sena for Shiv Sena. The world is going very, very fast way. My God, so this is real hatred. What's the controversy, if we can just move along here, to the wife, Akshata? What is the controversy there that they're going on about?
Oh, nothing, yaar, Veer, nothing, no controversy. She was accused of not filing proper tax returns as she was formerly not a UK citizen. But they have solved that, yaar.
How? How?
Oh, Akshata is paying tax in UK, India, America and 5 other countries in European Union, even though it is not required, just to be safe.
So what you're saying is Infosys is employing 11 countries in EU. Alone, this is India's contribution, ladies and gentlemen. Be proud to be Desi and hope you have shares in Infosys. So what about his US green card status?
Allah, no problem, yaar, koi problem hi nahi hai utthe. Firstly, there is a dual citizenship. Secondly, he has given up his green card. Le, sut deta.
Given up his green card?
Okay, oh, lost it. Lost his green card. Le, usme kiya. Temporarily lost. Mind, if he loses his nomination, the green card may be found miraculously खाट के नीचे पै गया, मिल गया.
Miraculously, it'll be there suddenly in the draw, top draw. Samajh gaya, sir. But if he does become the Prime Minister, what will India expect? What can we benefit?
Oh, Veer, the usual things are longer window for IPL, discounts for Bollywood film shot in UK, and a growth of 10%.
Growth in commercial, business and trade revenues.
Let me complete, yaar. Tu baat nahi puri karne deta. The growth of 10% more in Indian representation in Madam Tussad, yaar.
About time. About time. There's only 6 people of Indian descent there. There should be at least 9. I accept that. Go on then.
Aur kya? Tu ki soch raha? However, the PMO keeps asking the same question again and again and again. Wahi puchde rehde yaar. So he is avoiding their calls.
So Rishi will not take the PMO's calls from India. That's very strange. What is the question that he keeps getting?
Oh, same question yaar, again and again. Oh, sandbag pe Jai Mallya.
And for those of you who don't speak English, we're translating to Punjabi as we speak. So we're trying to keep everybody happy because the world is now one. Everybody in England has to learn Punjabi or Gujarati by Tuesday or they'll be out.
Hey, मैं क्या सुट्टो यार, celebrate करो. ओ सुनुक सुनुक सुन सुनुक सुनुक सुन सुनुक सुनुक सुन सारा रा सुनुक सुनुक सुन सुनुक सुनुक सुन सुनुक सुनुक सुन सारा रा. ओ तू भी गा वीरे. ओ नाचो. सुनुक सुनुक.
Good luck, Jerry. It sounds like I'm wrapping up the interview, but no, I'm starting it. So you are Jerry, I'm guessing.
I am Jerry.
So you want to explain the name to me? Jerry, like a mouse?
Like, kind of like Jerry from Tom and Jerry, right? You feel like Jerry's small and dainty and harmless, but Jerry keeps taking Tom for a ride. She like ghumaos Tom, he or she. And I think Jaya Kumari, aka Jerry, is kind of like that too. She seems innocent and docile and harmless, but she can take you for a ride.
So I feel like this is Sita and Geeta in
Welcome back. You're watching the morning news here at CNN News 18. Very quickly, we're switching tracks to big news we're getting in from Maharashtra as we speak. We're learning that the Shiv Sena is going to be going to the Supreme Court against the Election Commission. Remember, the Shiv Sena had a vertical split take place within the party a few weeks ago. There is currently that war between the Uddhav Thackeray-led faction and the current Chief Minister Eknath Shinde's led rebel faction. Currently, as we speak, the war that we're talking about is over the party's bow and arrow symbol. We know that the EC had earlier ordered both Uddhav Thackeray and the Eknath Shinde's factions to prove by submitting documents who got to claim the symbol. Now, my colleague, our Mumbai Bureau Chief, Vinaya Deshpande, right now with us to bring us more context. Vinaya, our audiences might already know elections are due in several civic bodies in Maharashtra within the next few weeks. It's within this context that we're seeing this tussle take place. Could you bring our audiences more understanding? Why has the Shiv Sena decided to go to the Supreme Court?
A very good morning, Toya. Yes, we know that a bunch of petitions that have been filed by the Shiv Sena, led by Uddhav Thackeray, are already pending with the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is going to hear them in some time from now. But we've also seen that the Election Commission, in the meantime, taking cognizance of the letter that was written by the current Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, taking claim to Shiv Sena, has also asked both Uddhav Thackeray as well as Eknath Shinde to give evidence about the party. Now, it is exactly this point that seems to have missed Uddhav Thackeray, because the stance of the Shiv Sena is that while this matter is completely sub judice and while the apex court is hearing this matter at present, how can some other body, independent body, interfere into this and ask for other documents and a parallel procedure to be taken place? And that is exactly why the Shiv Sena says that it is going to go to every forum, every appropriate forum possible in order to challenge this specific instruction that has now been given by the Election Commission, asking both Uddhav Thackeray as well as Eknath Shinde to give documentary evidence. The Shiv Sena feels that while the matter is sub judice and while the apex court is hearing it, no other parallel track can go on, and that is exactly the basis on which this is going to be challenged, is what the Shiv Sena's thinking is right now. Whether this will remain limited to the apex court, whether there will be any other forum that the Shiv Sena might also think of, depends on the kind of legal advice that the Shiv Sena is given right now. But as of now, we are told Uddhav Thackeray forming up plans to knock on the doors of the Supreme Court against the Election Commission, asking both Uddhav Thackeray and Eknath Shinde to give evidence for the party claim.
Yeah, thank you so much for illustrating that for us. One more chapter in the Maharashtra power tussle taking place right now in the Shiv Sena. We'll continue to track that story. Right now, though, we are heading into a short break. We'll continue to bring you the country's top stories on the other side.
First, see, the thing is, if y'all think that mom has a huge legacy in the Hindi film industry, her legacy in the South is far greater.
Huge, yeah.
And I feel like the people over there really take ownership of you, and I can feel their love every time I'm there. And I don't want to let them down. I want to justify their love. So I don't just want to do anything. I really want to do something that will make them feel like it's been worth their time.
So एक villain returns और एक villain के साथ he also returns. Now I don't know who is he. Either it has to be John Abraham or Arjun Kapoor. So who's the villain? Who's the husband? Ek villain was supposed to be Arjun, a very profitable franchise, a very profitable film. It was made on a budget of roughly 40 crores. And it garnered around 170 crores worldwide. So which means people loved the story and the thrill and everything. Is that the reason why you loved to be a part of this?
The most interesting part about this film is कि आपने कहा कि अर्जुन या जॉन है इस फिल्म की, वही खासियत है कि तारा और दिशा भी हो सकते हैं. And that's what the intrigue is. If you see the trailer, if you notice, the answers to the questions that normally would come through in a trailer, we've not given. So we've not made you choose a side. So even in the first one, there was a little bit of clarity about कौन क्या है.
हाँ, पता था.
इस फिल्म में आप ट्रेलर देखे तो ये नहीं बता सकते कि कौन विलन है, because हम चारों ही विलन हैं.
Last year 2021 has been a fabulous year for you. You had 3 films, सरदार का ग्रैंडसन, संदीप और पिंकी फरार and भूत पुलिस. और तीनों में आपका काम बहुत सराहा गया. संदीप और पिंकी फरार में खास तौर से, because it was a very strong storyline. The director was a very acclaimed director. I thought you shone in that film. You actually shone in that, and it is certainly one of the best films of your career.
Thank you. Yeah, I do believe that also.
Great team. Has something changed in the way you're choosing scripts now?
So Sandeep aur Pinky Farhara is not a new selection. It's a film that I was doing, which I committed to doing, and I was excited to do for the simple reason मैं वो इंसान हूँ जो मानता हूँ कि अगर मैं मुबारका कर सकता हूँ अनीस बज़मी के साथ, मैं हाफ गर्लफ्रेंड कर सकता हूँ मोहित सूरी के साथ, तो मैं संदीप और पिंकी फरार कर सकता हूँ दिवाकर बैनर्जी के साथ. So if I may say my learning out of संदीप और पिंकी फरार success or the adulation, and by success I'm not talking box office, it's just मैं हाल ही में कुत्ते के लिए शूटिंग करा था नसीर सर के साथ, और नसीर सर के साथ फाइंडिंग फैनी कर चुका हूँ. जब वो पहले दिन आए सेट पे तो कुमुद सर और नसीर सर के साथ मेरा सीन था. अब मैं नसीरुद्दीन शाह को मिलने, तो आप गले मिलने जाओगे नहीं सीधा, तो मैंने हाथ बढ़ाया, हालांकि मैं उनको जानता हूँ. मुझे उन्होंने गले लगा लिया और उन्होंने कहा यार मैंने तेरी दिवाकर की फिल्म देखी, बहुत अच्छा काम किया. तो कहीं ना कहीं आत्मविश्वास आता है उससे कि यार यू आर हेडिंग इन द राइट डायरेक्शन.
And you know, Arjun, also before turning into an actor, you were an AD for a long time, and that would have also given you a skill set that made you understand a lot about production, direction, and performances, and your view of actors.
Yeah, my first film I had the pleasure of seeing Shah Rukh Khan and Saif Ali Khan and Preeti Zinta and Jaya Bachchan. So I was on Kalona set, and you value the hard work that goes into make a film. Till you're not on a set, आपको कहीं ना कहीं वो पता नहीं लगता कि मेहनत का काम है भाई.
सही बात है.
Even though I'm from the industry, you know, you come in as a child on your father's set, you're pampered and taken care of. It's very different. You're a child.
Yes.
I was a terrible assistant on Kalona, if I may say so. And
Why terrible?
I was very young, and I was
How old were you?
I was 16, 17.
Okay.
तो मैं अच्छा assistant नहीं था ज़्यादा, and I don't deny that at all. I've been caught sleeping and all on set also. तो but फिर भी सीखने का मौका ज़रूर मिला. एक्टर को देखने का मौका मिला, क्लैप देता था, मेकिंग करता था फिल्म की उस समय. So you're very right about the fact that you understand the facets of filmmaking, and I think an actor today, when you're making
Welcome back. You're watching as we track the swearing-in ceremony set to take place, as you can see on the bottom of your screens, in a little bit more than an hour. We've got that countdown over there. We're tracking the swearing-in ceremony for the country's first tribal president, second female president, Droupadi Murmu. The visuals you can see right now on your screen. A little while ago, President-elect Murmu had made her way to Rajghat. Over there, she paid a floral tribute to the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. As we speak right now, she's moving in her cavalcade. She's actually gone back to her own residence, her temporary residence. That is, as you can see on your screens over there, it's at the Uma Shankar Dikshit Marg in central Delhi. From here, in a little while from now, she's going to leave to Rashtrapati Bhavan, where she'll be starting the ceremonies. The first thing that she's going to be doing is meeting the current President, Ram Nath Kovind. They'll be sitting together, getting tea. Then the swearing-in ceremony will take place. Now, my colleague Anshul with us live as we speak from Uma Shankar Dikshit Marg, where the President-elect has just returned after the Rajghat ceremony. Let's go over to him to understand more. Anshul, you're at the President's temporary residence as we speak, a space that July 22nd saw celebrations even before the results were formally announced. Describe to us the mood there right now.
Yes, Toya, definitely the mood is absolutely elated over here. I'll just try and show you in the visuals over here. If you could just see that the tents are still on, the posters are still on. Abhinandan to Shri Droupadi Murmu for being the next president of India. Not only this, but yes, MLAs from Odisha as well as Jharkhand have all come here just to meet Droupadi Murmu once before she goes on to take that oath. Now remember, this is the biggest and the most important journey that she is going to take from here. In the next 10 to 15 minutes, it is expected that she will leave from here to the Rashtrapati Bhavan, where there will be a welcoming ceremony in the forecourt of the Rashtrapati Bhavan, along with current President Ramnath Kovind as well. So after that, it is expected that she, along with Ramnath Kovind in the conventional presidential cavalcade, will then move to the Parliament. In the Parliament at around 10:15, it is expected that the oath-taking ceremony will take place inside the Parliament, where she will go ahead and address the attendees over there, including the chief ministers and deputy chief ministers of the country who have been called over there. I'll just try and show you in the visuals over here. These were the people who are leaving from here, are the MLAs and MPs who have come here to meet Droupadi Murmu since morning. Since 7 a.m. this morning, or probably before that, people have continuously been trickling in to meet and greet the President-elect Droupadi Murmu, just to get a one-on-one meeting with her. And just a few minutes ago, approximately 3 to 4 minutes ago, Droupadi Murmu finally returned from Rajghat after paying floral tribute to the father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi. And from here, she will be moving towards the Rashtrapati Bhavan in the next 10 minutes, where the initial ceremonies will take place. So yes, a big day for not only for Droupadi Murmu, but also for the entire country, because India is today going to get its first tribal women president. So yes, the mood over here is absolutely elated. People are excited today, as well as they are going to see the history in the making, a day that people are going to read about this in the future. So yes, a big day, not only for Droupadi Murmu, but also for the entire country.
Anshul is going to be present with us on the ground through the day-to-day, bringing us more developments. But right before we move on, we have for you the story of Droupadi Murmu. This is a deeper look at what her journey has been, right from her role as a teacher to then when she was the governor of Jharkhand for 6 years. Here's what her journeys look like. Take a look.
India's 15th president, India's first tribal president, first president born after independence. Droupadi Murmu is a woman of many firsts.
इसी कालखंड में देश को नए राष्ट्रपति, नए उपराष्ट्रपति, उनका मार्गदर्शन प्रारंभ होगा.
Nearly 5,000 MPs and MLAs across the country voted on 18th July to elect the newest occupant of the Raisina Hill.
श्रीमती द्रौपदी मुर्मू, इनको राष्ट्रपति का प्रत्याशी घोषित किया गया है एनडीए की तरफ से.
An announcement that did not come as much of a surprise, as in 2017 too, her name had figured in the NDA's shortlist for India's top constitutional office. Ramnath Kovind had then emerged as the dark horse. With the numbers stacked overwhelmingly in the favor of the NDA, Droupadi Murmu's election was high on symbolism and less about the numbers game. An election which is witnessing the changing political axis. A selection that has placed the opposition camp in a quandary. Uddhav Thackeray, forced by the Shiv Sena MPs, broke ranks from allies in Mahavikas Aghadi to back her. TDP's Chandrababu Naidu came out to even campaign for her in Andhra Pradesh. Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, India's only tribal party, had to support as well. After all, she had served as the governor of Jharkhand.
मेरे जो फैमिली बहुत गरीबी है, गरीबी थोड़ा मैं फाइनेंस सियाली उनको सपोर्ट करूं, इसीलिए थोड़ा पढ़ लिख के ऐसा बन जाऊं कि मुझे थोड़ा नौकरी मिल जाए. लेकिन मुझे पॉलिटिक्स में जाना, ये गवर्नर बनना, ये मैं कभी सोची नहीं थी.
64-year-old Droupadi Murmu, low profile and soft-spoken, has generally steered clear of controversy. She was also the only governor to complete a full term in office in Jharkhand, which has had 10 governments in its 2 decades of existence.
जो सेंट्रल ने हम मेरा बहन का नाम लिया ना, हम लोग बहुत खुश में, रायरमपुर के बासिंदा सब खुश में है. आदिवासी महिला की पहले जो चुना गया ना, वही सबसे खुशी बात है।
पूरा रायरंगपुर के साथ ही उनका बहुत अच्छा संपर्क रहा है। सबका उन्होंने हमेशा साथ और सहयोग दिया और बहुत ही प्यार भरा संपर्क रहा है उनका सबों के साथ में। हमारे किसी भी प्रोग्राम में वो हमेशा आगे रहते थे और सबकी बातें सुनते थे।
तो काउंसिलर से होके विधायक भी बन गए। विधायक बन के वो बेस्ट अवार्ड भी उनको मिला है, नीलकंठ पुरस्कार मिला है उनको। उसके बाद वो मंत्री भी बने। सबका साथ मिल के काम करते हैं।
Born into a Santhali farmer's home in Uperbeda village of Mayurbhanj district, Murmu persisted with her studies even though she had to leave her village after class 7 in order to do so. With the help of relatives, she completed her schooling in Bhubaneswar and then joined Ramadevi Women's College. After her studies, Murmu got a job with the Odisha's Irrigation and Power Department. She, however, quit the job after she got married to Shyam Charan Murmu, a bank employee, and moved to Rairangpur, a town about 20 kilometers from her native village. She started teaching at the Sri Aurobindo Integral Education and Research Center in Rairangpur. It was here that her work with a Santhal organization, where she had enrolled in the 1990s, caught the attention of the BJP's Raj Kishore Das. Back then, it was a party that did not have much political influence in the state. Seeing potential in Murmu, he asked her to contest for councillor in the Rairangpur Notified Area Council. In 1997, she became councillor and later vice chairperson of the Rairangpur Corporation.
2000 में 90 से 5 साल का ये तो आप जानते हैं टर्म होता है, लेकिन बीच में मुझे जब जनरल इलेक्शन आ गया, मुझे 2000 में टिकट दिया गया। उन्होंने कहा आपको तो लड़ना है। मैंने बोला मेरे बच्चे छोटे छोटे हैं, मुझे ये तो काउंसिलर में थी, वाइस चेयरमैन थी, तो टाउन के अंदर मुझे घूमना पड़ता था। फिर अभी तो मुझे पूरा क्षेत्र में घूमना पड़ेगा, तो टाइम नहीं दे पाऊंगी। फिर मुझे थोड़ा, मैंने बोला ठीक है चलिए। बच्चे भी बोले ठीक है माँ, तुम लड़ना चाहती हो तो लड़ो।
She served twice as a BJP MLA in Odisha and also worked as a minister in the Naveen Patnaik government from the 2002 to 2004, when the BJP and Biju Janata Dal ran a coalition government. She was awarded the Neelkant Award for the Best Legislator by the Odisha Legislative Assembly. Droupadi Murmu's candidature signifies the BJP's efforts to bring the tribal and other marginalized communities to the mainstream. A convincing example of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. It's an outreach to the strong 10.42 crore scheduled tribes population of India, who are largely in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Jharkhand and Maharashtra and other states in Northeast. The BJP hopes the message of the first tribal woman president of India will help them expand their footprints in tribal belts across the country and earn immediate electoral dividend in the upcoming polls. The move comes ahead of assembly elections in Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. The 4 states have 128 seats reserved for scheduled tribes, of which the BJP had won just 35 in the last assembly elections. The BJP is also hoping that her candidature will strengthen its political hold in Odisha and get a foothold in Jharkhand, where it lost the elections in 2019.
आज भी हम कहते हैं कि आदिवासियों में ओडिशा में संथाल प्रोग्रेसिव है, लेकिन इतना भी प्रोग्रेसिव नहीं है कि वो दूसरों के साथ कॉम्पीट कर पाए। इसीलिए और भी थोड़ा अभी भी फाउंडेशन स्टेज में है। आगे जाने के लिए महिला को और पुरुष को दोनों को आगे आना होगा। जैसे परिवार चलाने के लिए दोनों की आवश्यकता है।
In 2017, as governor, Murmu returned 2 controversial bills, the Chota Nagar Tenancy Act and Santhal Pargana Tenancy Act, in view of the widespread agitation from tribes after the state sought to dilute their rights over their land. This move against the then CM of the BJP, Raghubar Das, cemented her as the real custodian of tribal aspirations and tribal cause. Droupadi Murmu got support of MLAs across party lines, polling over 60% of votes. Her elevation as the president reflects the triumph of the spirit of new resilient India, where any citizen can rise to occupy the highest constitutional office of India. In New Delhi, this is Maria Shakil.
Hello everyone, you're watching CNN News 18 and I'm Maria Shakil. Today we are witnessing history unfold. President-elect Droupadi Murmu, 64-year-old, will take oath to head the highest constitutional post of India at 10:15 a.m., which will be followed by a 21-gun salute. Chief Justice of India, N.V. Rana, will administer the oath of office of the president to her. Earlier today, she visited the Rajghat. She is at her home right now, the temporary residence. She will be heading to the President House, where the outgoing President, Ramnath Kovind, and President-elect will arrive in Parliament in a ceremonial procession. Today is a day of tradition. Today is the day of processions, and we'll be witnessing it along with you. Let's get our reporters who are tracking this story. Anshul is joining me live from Droupadi Murmu, President-elect's residence. Pallavi Ghosh live with us from Vijay Chowk. We also have Siddhant live with me from Rajghat. I'm going to come to you, Siddhant. The President-elect visited Rajghat just a few minutes ago, the memorial of Mahatma Gandhi, and she paid her respects to the father of the nation. Right now, she is at her residence, but who all accompanied her when she went to Rajghat? We'll try and fix that audio with Siddhant. There seems to be some problem with that. Let me get a word from Pallavi Ghosh. Pallavi, we are seeing those images come in from various places, and of course today is a day of history where there will be tradition that will be unfolding. What all will happen from now onwards? 10:15 is when the swearing in happens. So Droupadi Murmu, who is right now at her residence, leaves for the President's house. That's where the outgoing President will be accompanying her to the Parliament of India.
That's right, and I'm just going to give you a sense of whatever little I can from the scene right behind me. And well, we're just getting the pictures. Umesh Sharma is getting us those pictures from right behind me. This is the road which lines up to the Rashtrapati Bhavan. You can already see the preparations very much on here. The forces are already out. This entire area, of course, is going to be cordoned off in a short while from now. You can see some VVIP vehicles also which are moving now towards Rashtrapati Bhavan and also towards Parliament. So what happens briefly is, of course, the President-elect goes to Rashtrapati Bhavan. Usually the norm is that she then accompanies the outgoing President on that buggy, which is a very colourful, poignant moment, certainly. Then, of course, they enter the Parliament House, where they are met and greeted by the Prime Minister, the entire cabinet colleagues, the Speaker, of course, over there. And it's a very short ceremony where the oath is given by the Chief Justice of India. And after that, of course, she signs the register, which means that it gets notified and gazetted that Droupadi Murmu is going to be the 15th President of India. And after that, she's of course expected to address the House. It's in Central Hall, so it's a joint session. And of course, the ceremony, what we are being told, should be over maximum by around noon, a little beyond that. And then, of course, Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha resumes their business as usual. So behind the entire procedure, Mara, which is a very colourful one and a ceremonial one, captures the essence of our constitution, the continuity in office, and also the fact that there's someone from a humble backdrop, which the Home Minister, of course, has written in his article also today, someone who can have the audacity of hope. You don't have to be entitled to reach the highest office of our country, which of course is Rashtrapati Bhavan. And the powers with her are going to be supreme. She's the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. All appointments of the cabinet ministers are done after her. Every bill, every ordinance will have to be notified by the Rashtrapati Bhavan. It's only then that it comes into effect. And of course, there are multitude of powers and responsibility which she enjoys. Many criticize the president's office for being just a ceremonial office or a titular head, but that's not really so. History has shown many occasions where the president has stood up. They were certain themselves. You know, for example, when mercy killings, pardon comes, those issues, when it comes to giving the strictest of punishment of the harshest of crimes, that's where the Rashtrapati Bhavan often steps in. Protecting the constitution whenever there are political uncertainties, that's where the task of the president comes in. So it's not really a ceremonial office.
Yes.
The person who sits in office gives that value addition, and there are huge expectations from Droupadi Murmu in that context.
Yes, that's right, Pallavi. The person who sits in that office almost defines that office. An interesting editorial that has been penned by Home Minister Amit Shah, in which he says that this is about the first citizen and the 9% vote. I'm looking at the article. Home Minister Amit Shah in that article has said that the tribals constitute nearly 9% of our population. Their sacrifices for our freedom struggle are unforgettable. But the sad truth is that post-independence, most governments have not done enough for the development and empowerment of our tribal communities. Hardly any efforts were made to bring them into the national mainstream, and they almost remained devoid of important offices. A huge message that is coming in from Home Minister Amit Shah, where he says that Srimati Droupadi Murmu ji's election as the President of India proves Prime Minister Narendra Modi's commitment to the empowerment of tribals. So the big message that is going in to the 9% tribal population, that is around 10.43 crore tribals of India, that it is about mainstreaming, about the mainstreaming of the marginalized. A huge message that goes today when we look at those visuals that are coming in of Droupadi Murmu, who will now be heading to the Rashtrapati Bhavan, where the outgoing president and the president-elect will together be participating in all the ceremonies. And what all do we know now? There will be a ceremonial event which will be held at the forecourt of the Rashtrapati Bhavan at 9:42. But if it rains, because there are clouds above in the sky, the function will be skipped. And according to a statement on the schedule of the oath ceremony, then the Vice President, Rajya Sabha Chairman Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Modi, Lok Sabha Speaker, all of them will be receiving the new president and the outgoing president for the remaining ceremony. Siddhant Mishra is joining me live from Rajghat. Siddhant, where you are, that's where Droupadi Murmu was just half an hour ago. Who all accompanied her?
Well, she was accompanied by inter-services commanders, along with the staff that has been assigned to her as a president-elect Maria. She was here for a few minutes. She paid homage to Mahatma Gandhi, and then she left for her residence. Now, today's movement is historic, Maria. In fact, as you were highlighting, that it is not just about colors, ceremonies. It is historic because emotions are flowing. And in fact, going by the piece that Home Minister Amit Shah has penned down today, he made this very clear that it is about the identity of 9% of our population. He also talks about how in 1999 it was during Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government, the Tribal Affairs Ministry was formed, and later the commissions were also set up. In this article, he also talks about that how through Jal Jeevan Mission, the clean water has been provided to the tribal belt, the Eklavya school model. So in a way, the NDA and BJP especially has given a very strong message that it has taken almost 70 years for India to get an Adivasi president, and the government is not just about sending this strong message by nominating someone like Droupadi Murmu for the highest office, but this entire decision is guided by Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas model. So it is on one end they are nominating someone from the tribal community. On the other end, the government is equally concerned about the upliftment of the tribal community and the schemes that have been launched under Prime Minister Modi's leadership. Eklavya School, clean water, and from Atalji's time, the separate ministry was given to Adivasi causes. So all these things have been penned down by Home Minister Amit Shah, and he himself calls it a historic, a very historic day. And Maria, from last 4 days, we have been witnessing that how emotions are flowing. Leaders, the tribal leaders are camping in the national capital. The artists from the tribal community are camping in national capital, and they are thankful to the Prime Minister Modi for nominating Droupadi Murmu and especially the historic victory that she has received. The MPs, MLAs cross-voted. So the love, compassion and emotions are flowing. It's indeed a very historic day, and the ceremonies are all obviously going to be same. But these emotions make this entire day very special.
Absolutely.
And this is the reason that all eyes are on the ceremonies that are going to take place in the Central Hall.
Yes, and what a remarkable journey it has been for India's first tribal president. Droupadi Murmu started her journey from a small village in Rairangpur, and now she is heading to Raisina Hill, symbolizing that in today's India, hope, aspiration is primary. If you have the audacity of hope, then the Raisina Hill, the highest constitutional office in the country, can be yours as well. Let's take a look at the task that is cut out for India's first tribal president. As tribal, she must go beyond symbolism and tokenism. Yes, this office is about great responsibility. There are great expectations as well for Droupadi Murmu, because there will be high on symbolism, as we have been saying. But she has sent that message repeatedly, particularly when she was the governor of Jharkhand, when she returned that bill which was Chotanagar Tenancy Act, which was seen as anti-tribal, which was seen as not protecting the rights and lands of tribal. Let's take a look at the second big challenge. She has to allow herself to not become a tool for garnering tribal votes. The BJP certainly has expectations and a message that is going particularly to those who live in those scheduled tribes reserved constituencies. Over 100 of those that go to polls in the next 1.5 years. The states that are going to poll, that is Gujarat, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh. In these constituencies alone, there is a huge percentage of tribal votes. The BJP certainly hopes that this messaging will help them garner votes. Her background, of course, is under close scrutiny because she comes from the saffron background. Remember, she became an MLA of the BJP in a state where BJP did not really have a toehold. That is the state of Odisha. And then she went on to become a minister in Naveen Patnaik's Council of Ministers during that alliance government of BJD and BJP. Actions will be watched, particularly in 2024 when Prime Minister Narendra Modi seeks his third term. Of course, the message largely is how she deals with mercy pleas, as we have been saying. This is the highest constitutional office of the country. In all, 488 death row prisoners are there, and highest in 17 years. Her decision will be seen as that which will be under a lot of scrutiny, particularly to do with her constitutional decisions. Anshul is joining me live from Droupadi Murmu's residence. We also have Pallavi Ghosh and Siddhant, who is joining me. The big message, as we have been saying, is coming in from the fact that she is the first tribal president, but also the second woman president, who all were there from her family, Anshul, when she was leaving her home. We'll try and connect with Anshul in just a bit, but yes, today is a day of ceremonies, today is a day of tradition. Tradition that we see when the president takes charge and the outgoing president, hands over the baton in a tradition which has been happening in the country for over 70 years, and it's a beautiful tradition with 21 gun salutes and the entire government receiving the outgoing president as she also will be taking charge in the Central Hall of Parliament, which will have the members of houses, of both the houses. Yes, those images are coming in. The President-elect leaving her temporary home as she now heads to the Rashtrapati Bhavan. On Sunday, remember, outgoing President Ramnath Kovind hosted a dinner for President-elect, Vice President Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Union Council of Ministers at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Anshul is joining me live. Who all are accompanying the President-elect? Anshul.
So that said, Maria, the President-elect Droupadi Murmu has left for one final time from a temporary residence out here from Pandit Uma Shankar Ravi Lane to the Rashtrapati Bhavan. She has just now left from here. She is being accompanied by a lot of people who had come here to greet her, especially people from her village, from her native town. People have been coming in since morning. MLAs from Odisha, Jharkhand have all gathered here this morning to just get a one-on-one meeting with Droupadi Murmu. And after that meeting, all that people have been taken in a bus to the Rashtrapati Bhavan, where they'll listen into the oath-taking ceremony of Droupadi Murmu. As Droupadi Murmu has left from here, she will be reaching the President House, Rashtrapati Bhavan, in the next few minutes at 9:22 a.m. It is expected that she'll be there, where a ceremony will be held in the forecourt of the Rashtrapati Bhavan, after which she will be moving along with the current President Ramnath Kovind in a ceremonial convoy, President's ceremonial convoy to the Parliament. So yes, in the next few minutes we are going to see the whole program unfolding, but as of now she has started on a most important journey from the national capital, from Pandit Uma Shankar Ravi Lane to the Parliament House, and just in the next few minutes we are going to see Droupadi Murmu reaching the President House, where she will be welcomed by Ramnath Kovind, and a colourful ceremony is going to take place just in the next few minutes from now, Maria.
So today, that is 25th of July, India will be seeing its 15th president take oath, and this shows our system and also the continuity. Let me give you an interesting anecdote here. This is the 10th time in a row President's oath is taking place on July 25th. Since 1977, that was the day, July 25th, 1977, when Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy took oath on, and this is the 10th time that the President is taking oath on July 25th. So July 25th is when we are seeing history unfold. For 10 times, you know, the presidents have taken oath on this day. This shows how solid our system and continuity of this top constitutional office of the country is. Pallavi Ghosh continues to be with us. We have been highlighting the idea of continuity and the top constitutional office of the country. Today is that day. She is a two-time BJP MLA from Odisha. President-elect was a minister, as I said, in Naveen Patnaik cabinet when Biju Janata Dal ruled the state with the BJP support. Siddhant continues to be with us. Siddhant, we are seeing those visuals of Droupadi Murmu's cavalcade now perhaps marching towards the Rashtrapati Bhavan. That's where the 21-gun salute will happen. That's where the outgoing president will welcome her. What are you seeing where you are?
Well, that's right, Maria, and as we have been talking about this, that why this day is historic, why this day is special. Reason is that someone from the Adivasi community is going to take oath as a 15th president of India, and this particular thing makes this day historic and grand. Right now, she has left her residence, and she's going to Rashtrapati Bhavan to meet Ramnath Kovind. We have been told, Maria, President-elect and President will sit for a tea, and then in next half an hour they are likely to leave for Parliament with full motorcade procession. That is going to be grand and colorful, and they'll be received there by Prime Minister, Speaker of Lok Sabha and Chairman of Rajya Sabha at Parliament building, and then the oath-taking ceremony will begin, followed by the gun salute. Also, Maria, I would like to highlight here, I have read the full piece that has been penned down by Home Minister Amit Shah, and in fact, 15 years back there was a perception that the BJP is very much an urban party, a party which belongs to upper caste. Since 2014, when Prime Minister Modi took over the office, the entire perception has been changed. President Kovind comes from a Dalit community. Now, Adivasi community, women from Adivasi community is going to take oath. So this has also changed the perception of Bharatiya Janata Party completely. And when Home Minister Amit Shah says that first person and 9%, he is highlighting that there are other communities which contribute to the vote bank of Bharatiya Janata Party, but this community, this Adivasi community, only contributes 9% in the electoral democratic process. Despite that, a woman has been picked from this community. So it is not just about symbolism, but the BJP does believe in Sabka Saath, Sabka Vishwas, and in fact he has highlighted all the schemes that are being run by the government of India for the upliftment of the tribal community. So this is a very strong message, Maria, which Bharatiya Janata Party has sent out, and this messaging is also to change the entire perception for the party, that this party doesn't only belong to the urban population or the upper caste. This party belongs to everyone, and this party believes in Sabka Saath and Sabka Vikas. This is not just a motto or some type of
stay with
slogan.
us, because
they believe in it. And
the visuals are now coming in from Doordarshan, and let's dip in and listen to the audio there.
As India's first citizen, as the President of India, she will keep people at the foreground.
राष्ट्रपति भवन से ये दृश्य, सामने राजपथ, विजय चौक, उसके बाद राष्ट्रपति भवन का मुख्य द्वार और ये जयपुर स्तंभ, जिसके ऊपर कमल और सितारा, राष्ट्रपति भवन का शानदार गुंबद जो दूर से ही दिखता है, तांबे का बना हुआ, बहुत ही भव्य और विशाल ये राष्ट्रपति भवन, और इसका ये मुख्य द्वार, लोहे का विशाल फाटक.
The majestic gate of Rashtrapati Bhavan, a work of art in themselves, going up to 6 meters in width. And of course, as we all will be witness to a beautiful ceremony here, this is the path leading out from the forecourt, and in the center is the 44-meter tall Jaipur column topped by the Star of India, and this huge panoramic vista you can see right up the gently sloping Raisina hill going through Rajpath towards India Gate. And just right at the center of attention is the central dome of Rashtrapati Bhavan. This is one of the most distinctive features of the building. 55 meters above the level of the forecourt, it has the national flag hoisted from its peak, and the central dome is twice the height of the building.
राष्ट्रपति भवन का ये प्रांगण, और सामने इसमें ये खंबे, 12 खंबे सामने और 8 पीछे, यानी कुल 20 खंबे, और सामने उसके हैं 31 सीढ़ियां. राष्ट्रपति अंगरक्षक, रायसीना पहाड़ी पर राष्ट्रपति भवन के सामने नॉर्थ ब्लॉक और साउथ ब्लॉक, जहां भारत सरकार के महत्वपूर्ण मंत्रालय और प्रधानमंत्री कार्यालय यहीं मौजूद है. राष्ट्रपति भवन के ठीक सामने प्रांगण में जयपुर कॉलम 145 फीट ऊंचा है.
We are awaiting the arrival of the President-elect, Srimati Murmu.
So any moment now, Droupadi Murmu will be arriving. In fact, she has arrived at the President House. The President's bodyguard will be presenting In fact, the president-elect will be, in fact, she has arrived at the North Court of the Rashtrapati Bhavan and will be conducting a study at Kaveri, which is a committee room where she will be received by President Ramnath Kovind. You can see President, the first citizen of India, and his wife and the daughter. They are present to welcome Droupadi Murmu, the president-elect. President Ramnath Kovind and the president-elect will leave study Kaveri, which is the committee room for Darbar Hall. The procession with President and President-elect will be formed at the Darbar Hall. That's what we'll be seeing unfold in the next 20 minutes. That's the movement we are seeing of President-elect and President Ramnath Kovind. Pallavi Ghosh continues to be with us. Today is a day of tradition, Pallavi, a day of ceremonies, but we are looking at those visuals as the outgoing president hands over the baton of the office, which is an office in continuity, the office of the President of India. Pallavi.
That's right, Maria. I'm going to just try and get you some. I'm going to just kind of get you some of the pictures which are right behind me. You can already see the cars by kind of lining up, and they are streaming up. Some of them, of course, going to Parliament House, where around 10:15 the oath is going to take place. But arrangements are very much in place. And if you can see those pictures of the forces, the representatives already lined up to the grand pathway right up to Rashtrapati Bhavan. So, you know, you've described what exactly is going to be happening. So what happens is that, weather permitting and the sun is bright and out very much over here, on the buggy, the outgoing president accompanies the new president-elect of India to Parliament House, and by the Parliament House she is going to be met and greeted by the Prime Minister, the cabinet ministers, of course the Vice President Mr. Venkaiah Naidu. All of them are going to be there, and then she is ushered into the Central Hall, and at around 10:15 a.m. and it works with clockwork precision. At around 10:15 a.m. the Chief Justice of India is going to give oath, and after that, of course, she signs the register. That's usually the norm, and then there's a switching over of the responsibility. So, you know, he exchanges. I remember that's what happened during late Pranab Mukherjee's time when he handed over charge to President Kovind. So he got up from his chair and made the new president, that's President Kovind, sit on the chair, thereby signaling that his tenure has ended and the tenure of the 14th president of India had begun. So I guess that's pretty much the sequence of events which are going to take place inside Parliament as well. And it's likely to be her first address to the joint session of Parliament, where I guess she's going to say pretty much the same thing which we all have been talking about, that how she is the true representative of all the citizens, not just those 9 to 10% of the tribal population of the country. She may have come in as a representative of the tribals, may be seen as a huge sense of empowerment for them as well as for women empowerment, but her task extends beyond to protect the constitution, to ensure the constitutional principles are very much enshrined in governance and in the day-to-day lives of the people. So a very short, cryptic ceremony, but one which is going to be heavily loaded with several political messages and several messages from our constitution and the Republic of India.
That's right, Pallavi, and we are looking at the guest list of the president-elect Droupadi Murmu. She is expected to be accompanied by her brother and sister-in-law, daughter and son-in-law, 3 Brahma Kumaris from Rairangpur, her home district, and 6 tribal MLAs of Mayurbhanj district, the district from where she comes from. That's where her journey begins, and what a proud moment it is for her hometown and for the country at large. Satyajit Senapati is joining me live from the president-elect's home in Odisha. Satyajit, आप क्या देख रहे हैं वहाँ पे क्या स्क्रीन्स लगे हैं? सब लोग देखना चाह रहे होंगे आखिर उड़ीसा की बेटी ओथ लेने जा रही हैं.
Here you can see the pictures of Rairangpur, the birthplace of President. You can see the traditional dance. The Adivasi society is coming in the morning time, and they are continuing to traditional dance is hearing, and you can see his dress is traditional and the music also a traditional. I am asking you sir question. क्या सर आज क्या सेलिब्रेशन हो रहा है? कितना देर एक सेलिब्रेशन चलेगा?
जी देखिए, पहले तो मैं जय जगन्नाथ बोलूंगा क्योंकि ये जगन्नाथ जी का भूमि है, माँ की जगसरी का भूमि में उनको भी प्रणाम करता हूँ। और हमारे सेलिब्रेशन अभी शुरू हो चुका है, ट्रेडिशनल डांसेस शुरू हो चुका है, सारे स्कूल के बच्चे आ चुके हैं वहाँ पर LED लगा हुआ, सब बच्चे हमारे प्यारी दीदी को शपथ ग्रहण करते हुए देखेंगे। इसके बाद उनको में हम लोग मिष्ठान बंटन करेंगे, तरह तरह का व्यंजन उन लोग को मिलेगा और नाच गाना चलेगा और धूम मचेगा। बहुत सारे माने हम लोग उत्साह में हम लोग भरे हुए हैं और प्रार्थना करते हैं कि हमारे दीदी जो आज राष्ट्रपति का शपथ लेने जा रही है, हमारे रायरंगपुर का नाम, ओडिशा का नाम, भारत का नाम पूरा विश्व दरबार में पहुंचाए और हम लोग का उत्साह बढ़ाए।
Whole day is the program is begins, but whole day the program is continuous. I am asking you a question, ma'am. What is the proud of that this day? What is the historic day for Rairangpur?
बहुत बड़ी खुशी की बात है क्योंकि रायरंगपुर से रायसेना छोटी बात नहीं है। प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो अपॉर्चुनिटी दिया और आदिवासियों को जो सम्मान दिया, ये हमारे लिए बहुत ही खुशी की बात है कि आज हमारी द्रौपदी जी राष्ट्रपति बनने जा रही है, शपथ ग्रहण करने वाली है। तो ये शायद हम लोगों का जो सपना था आंखों में, एक जमाना था कि जब हम लोग बस सपने ही देख सकते थे, लेकिन उसको पूरा करने के लिए हमारे पास ताकत नहीं था। पर आज माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने हमें वो अपॉर्चुनिटी दिया कि हमारे बीच से एक महिला उठ के, एक गरीब प्रधान परिवार से होते हुए भी आज राष्ट्र की सर्वोच्च पदवी जो कहा जाता है, हमारे देश की प्रथम महिला नागरिक के तौर पे आज शपथ ग्रहण करने वाली हैं। तो ये हम सबके लिए बहुत ही खुशी की बात है और मैं चाहूंगी कि इसी तरह ही हमारे समाज से जितने भी और भी महिलाएं हैं आगे आए और देश के लिए, समाज के लिए कुछ अच्छा कर जाए।
देखिए, रायरंगपुर के नाम आज पूरे देश में चर्चा है। ये कितना खुशी और गर्व की बात है आप लोगों के लिए?
बहुत ही ज्यादा खुशी की बात है क्योंकि आज तक शायद भारत मानचित्र में रायरंगपुर एक जगह था जो कि शायद हमारे उड़ीसा के वासियों के लिए ही जानकारी तक था, पर आज पूरे देश में, सिर्फ देश में नहीं कहूँगी, मैं तो कहूँगी विश्व भर में ही एक जगह, एक पहचान हम लोगों की बन गई बिकॉज ऑफ द्रौपदी दीदी, क्योंकि वो आज जहाँ पर पहुँची है, आज से पहले कोई भी आदिवासी महिला पहुँच नहीं पाई थी। तो इसीलिए हम बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहेंगे।
You can listen the reaction of the people. They are very happy because the Rairangpur area is not known everybody because the Odisha is border of Jharkhand and Odisha, so that many people don't know the Rairangpur. But today the whole India is known about the Rairangpur and the Droupadi Murmu and the people of Rairangpur, so that they have very happy and feel that the historic day of today is in, and then you can see the pictures. They are dancing.
Sentiment that was shared by that woman perhaps sums up the sentiments of tribals of India and women as well, because this is the second time that a woman is occupying the highest constitutional office of the country. Let me bring in the guests this hour. Professor Gargi Nandi Roy is a political analyst. We also have Hemant Atri, senior journalist. Professor Roy, I'm coming to you. We are looking at those visuals, proud moment for India, and certainly a moment of great history for the tribals in particular. It took them 75 years for any government, for any political party to ensure that a name such as this comes up. Where, Droupadi Murmu today represents that 10.43 crore aspirations. She represents that, that coming from the most humble background, coming from a Santhal community, you can actually become the occupant of the highest constitutional office. Professor Roy.
Oh, I'm on?
Yes.
I can't see. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think, for Droupadi Murmu today, from becoming Srimati Droupadi Murmu to Mahamahim Droupadi Murmu, it's a great achievement, Maria, in the 75 years of our democracy. It shows the immense power of our democracy, and it's a milestone towards the real rise of the subaltern.
Yes.
And today is the day when those, even whoever have criticized, I think they should rise above partisan politics and see what is good and celebrate the triumph of our democracy. And I think it's a country, our country has seen a great constitutionalist in Dr. Rajendra Prasad.
Yes.
A great philosopher in Radhakrishnan, a great scientist in APJ Abdul Kalam. And today we see a great woman, she is an inspiration for womanhood, and she is inspiration to everybody coming from a humble background. As you said in the beginning, the audacity of dreaming, And her journey is a long inspirational story, overcoming not only adverse circumstances, but even overcoming personal setbacks, great personal setbacks. As a human being, when we see her life story, it's a great inspiration for all of us.
And you beautifully summed that up, Professor Roy, to say that it is a journey from Srimati to Mahamahim. A journey of a young girl from Rairangpur who became the first girl from Santhal community to leave her home. Imagine the cultural shock. Imagine the tough terrains that she must have overcome, the personal tragedies that she overcame throughout her journey. It is a history unfold. Those four courts of Rashtrapati Bhavan are witnessing history and the country at large. And Professor Roy, as I said, it's audacity of hope that she could really become the president. And what a day it is, 25th of July. We are talking about continuity because in 1977, 25th of July, that was the day when Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy took charge. And we are seeing 25th of July 2021, where we are seeing 2022, where Droupadi Murmu is taking charge. Let's listen in to the audio of DD now.
शांत व्यक्ति ऐसे हैं ये संथाल आदिवासी और उसी समुदाय से हैं हमारे देश की नवनिर्वाचित राष्ट्रपति श्रीमती द्रौपदी मुर्मू। ये विशाल और भव्य राष्ट्रपति भवन, उसके सामने रायसीना पहाड़ी से नीचे की ओर विजय चौक, नॉर्थ ब्लॉक, साउथ ब्लॉक, वास्तुकला का एक शानदार नमूना। विजय चौक से भव्य राष्ट्रपति भवन, जिसके एक ओर नॉर्थ ब्लॉक और दूसरी तरफ साउथ ब्लॉक। और ये दृश्य खास मौकों पर हम सब देखते हैं। आज ऐसा ही विशेष अवसर है और यहाँ निवर्तमान राष्ट्रपति के साथ नवनिर्वाचित राष्ट्रपति श्रीमती द्रौपदी मुर्मू अब कुछ ही समय में यहाँ से राष्ट्रपति भवन के प्रांगण की ओर अग्रसर हैं। वहाँ से वो प्रस्थान करेंगी माननीय राष्ट्रपति जी की साथ संसद के केंद्रीय कक्ष की ओर।
Specially placed cameras giving you an inside view of the galleries of Rashtrapati Bhavan. Interesting to know that there are 2.5 kilometers of corridors in Rashtrapati Bhavan. In architecture, material influences the expression royal, regal, splendid without being overbearing or overwhelming. The sandstone pink and cream combination used gives a feeling of space and dimension, new meaning. Beautifully synced together, keeping Delhi's climate in mind. We are very blessed to have a lovely light breeze blowing here in the national capital.
So what is going to be Droupadi Murmu's first move as the president? Sources in the Rashtrapati Bhavan tell us that President-elect Murmu, because she is still President-elect, it's at 10:15, that she will be taking oath as the 15th President, will receive tribal delegations across the country over the next few weeks. Rashtrapati Bhavan will be thrown open to tribals who want to come and visit her. That's going to be the big move of President-elect Droupadi Murmu. Pallavi Ghosh continues to be with us. Pallavi, today is the day we are seeing that interesting editorial penned by Home Minister where he talks about 9% of tribals. And now we are seeing this decision that has come in that over the next few weeks, President-elect will be meeting the tribals from across the country.
Yes, Maria, and there's a deep messaging behind it that the highest office in our country is not which is going to be drawing its gates down to those who are not considered to be entitled, those who've been deprived of opportunities. I think when you choose someone like a Droupadi Murmu who belongs to a tribal population, who of course also talks about women empowerment, it also goes on to show that Rashtrapati Bhavan's gates are now wide open to all kinds of people from every section of the society. So it's accessible to everyone. And I think that's being in sync with that. This kind of decision has been taken that over the next few weeks, the president herself is going to be meeting with tribal delegations, not just from her home state, but across the country. But more than that, if tribals want to come in, they will have complete access and freedom. Of course, those security permissions are required, but it's going to be easy for them to walk in and also take a tour of Rashtrapati Bhavan, thereby carrying the message across that Rashtrapati Bhavan is something, a place, a nomination or the choice of a new president who belongs to this community. Just goes on to send the messages. Just about anyone in this country can actually access the top office. You just need those opportunities because you deserve those opportunities and you have a right to it.
Yes, her remarkable journey from an extremely poor tribal family, from a very disadvantaged community, that is the Santhal community, to the highest constitutional position in the country, to the highest constitutional office in the country, has been marked by struggles, but the one of grit and determination. Hemant Attri continues to be with us as well. Hemant Attri, it's a proud moment for the country, and the year is also very significant because it's 75th year of India's independence.
Perfectly said, Maria, and there is something more to it. It is not only the 75th year of independence, it is 73rd year of India becoming republic.
Yes.
And what a mesmerizing scene that you showed from her birthplace. A little Puti who was born 64 years back. Remember, her family name was Puti. And the present name Droupadi that was given to her was by her teacher only. Once she was admitted to the school at the age of 5. Before that, she was only a Puti. And now see the kind of messaging that has happened in the 75th year of independence, the most neglected, the most oppressed, and see her journey, right from becoming a Jilla Parshad to becoming an MLA to a minister, then a governor, and now to the highest office of the country. See the kind of messaging, the kind of perfect execution, and now the marketing of it. The day Mrs. Murmu won this election, there were processions all around, maybe in Delhi also in many state capitals. Why? Because BJP has championed the cause of marketing to the last person of the society. And that's what's really mean in a political system like ours. Messaging as well.
Yes, the messaging of the first president, and rightly so, I would say, because we are seeing history unfold. India is getting its first tribal president. Let's listen into the audio of Doordarshan again.
के बाद कई बार राष्ट्रपति अंगरक्षक ने अनेक युद्ध में अपने युद्ध कौशल का परिचय दिया। राष्ट्रपति अंगरक्षक के सैनिक समारोहिक औपचारिकताओं में दक्ष हैं। वे प्रशिक्षित घुड़सवार और कुशल टैंक चालक भी हैं।
The president's bodyguard on magnificent dark bay and bay-colored mounts. And in fact, the guards are riding steeds that are the tallest held by any mounted unit in the country, at a minimum of 15.5 hands. And these magnificent horses are very well looked after by the 44 Military Veterinary Hospital. A unique, distinct regiment. The personnel are handpicked, all of them at least 6 feet tall. And of course, besides performing ceremonial duties for the president, the officers and men of the bodyguards are trained horsemen, paratroopers and tanksmen. Chushul in 1962, in the Western Theatre in 1965, and in Operation Bhavan in Sri Lanka in 1988. They've all seen action there. The flag fluttering high, indicating that the president is in Rashtrapati Bhavan in residence. Equality, freedom, justice, pluralism, tolerance, respect, participation. The list of values that a democracy stands for include that which has been stated by earlier generations and also those which evolve as time goes by. To keep up with the times, to yet bring in tradition so that the past and the future are connected by the present. That is a legacy we leave behind.
नवनिर्वाचित राष्ट्रपति का जीवन महिलाओं और बालिकाओं के लिए बड़ी प्रेरणा है। ज्यादातर समाजों में हमने देखा है कि लिंग भेद होता है, बेटा बेटी में भेद किया जाता है और ऐसे में बालिकाओं के सामने, महिलाओं के सामने संघर्ष और भी ज्यादा कठिन हो जाता है। पिछले कुछ वर्षों में सरकार ने बालिका विकास के लिए कई कदम उठाए हैं, जिनमें बेटियों को बचाने के लिए बेटियों को बचाओ और इसी के साथ बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ, सुकन्या समृद्धि योजना, सीबीएसई की उड़ान योजना, लड़कियों के लिए मुफ्त या राज सहायता प्राप्त शिक्षा, कॉलेजों और विश्वविद्यालयों में महिलाओं के लिए आरक्षण, माध्यमिक शिक्षा के लिए लड़कियों को प्रेरित करने की राष्ट्रीय योजना। इसके साथ साथ जो सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात आ जाती है वो ये कि जितने भी अवसर हैं उसमें कहीं कोई भेदभाव ना हो, समानता हो, लड़कों के बराबर उन्हें भी आगे बढ़ने के वो सभी अवसर प्राप्त हों और ये सुनिश्चित हो घर से। वो समाज जब भेद नहीं करता, जब बेटा और बेटी।
Over the next few days, Droupadi Murmu, the president-elect who will be taking oath at 10:15, will be opening the doors of the gates of Rashtrapati Bhavan, the highest constitutional office of the country, to meet tribals from across the country. Professor Nandi Roy, we are talking about Mahamahim Droupadi Murmu now, and also the message that is coming in from this election, which was high on symbolism, high on the message of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas and Sabka Prayas. That's what the Modi government's principle and philosophy has been, that they are looking at increasing the allocation of projects for the tribal communities for their welfare and progress. Professor Roy.
Oh, so you want me to talk?
Yes.
Yes. Maria, you know, I was just reading a survey yesterday.
Yes.
I didn't know about that. It was a NFHS 5 survey, which had sampled 27 lakh households into equal wealth categories. And you cannot believe that in that sample, 71% of the Adivasi families came in the lowest two categories compared to 49% of the Dalits and only 36% of OBCs. So that is still the Adivasi condition. And if you know, her village also has been electrified not very long ago, where from Droupadi Murmu comes. And the dropout in secondary school of Adivasi is 21%, which is double than the general category. In higher studies, hardly 5.6%. So those are all those I was just reading. So from there, a woman coming here, I think it's a great journey, and she has risen through ranks. I hope all her critics and all the person who criticize this government should today really appreciate her and the government's effort, you know. So stop the criticism, whoever has criticized, because she is a person who has risen in ranks through her sheer hard work. If I see her journey from a school teacher to a junior assistant in irrigation department, to an assistant professor, to the councillor, MLA, to our 2 times MOS, ministers, then governor of Jharkhand. What a journey, what a journey. It's inspiration for all of us. I mean, for people like me, for people like you, for all the womanhood in this country. And I love the way you say, Maria, that audacity of hope. That's a lovely coinage that you did, you know, audacity of hope. And if you can dream, people's dreams can, people will now dare to dream. people from humble background,
and
from
her
a
story
small
must be
village
told.
who dare to dream.
Her
And
story must be told again and again.
Must be told. Yes.
Yes, we are seeing those visuals. Let's listen in now to the Doordarshan now again, and I'm going to come back to you, Professor.
राष्ट्रपति और नवनिर्वाचित राष्ट्रपति
Information and informal procession. The President of India, Shri Ramnath Kovind, and the President-elect of India, Srimati Droupadi Murmu, going past and through the Darbar Hall. Under the shadow of Lord Buddha's 5th century BC Gupta period style. Dignitaries moving towards the dais for the national salute.
Rashtrapati Angrakshak, Salami Degab, Rashtra Salute, Madhya Tek.
President Ramnath Kovind sitting in his vehicle, and accompanying him the President-elect Srimati Droupadi Murmu as they make their way towards Parliament House.
Section, Bodyguard, Kadam, Kadam.
राष्ट्रपति भवन से नवनिर्वाचित राष्ट्रपति श्रीमती द्रौपदी मुर्मू और निवर्तमान राष्ट्रपति श्री रामनाथ कोविंद प्रस्थान कर रहे हैं संसद भवन के केंद्रीय कक्ष की ओर। उनके साथ राष्ट्रपति अंगरक्षक, विशाल भव्य राष्ट्रपति भवन के प्रांगण से ये काफिला अब धीरे धीरे राष्ट्रपति भवन के मुख्य द्वार की ओर बढ़ता हुआ भारत के लोकतंत्र का एक महत्वपूर्ण दिन, खास मौका। देश की 15वीं राष्ट्रपति अब से कुछ ही देर में शपथ लेंगी। रायसीना पहाड़ी पर बना विशाल और भव्य राष्ट्रपति भवन, जिसकी नींव सन 1911 में रखी गई थी और इसी के जयपुर कॉलम के नजदीक से गुजर रहा है ये काफिला, जो अग्रसर है संसद भवन की ओर।
The President's limousine is escorted by the President's bodyguard, proceeding to gate number 5 of Parliament House. In fact, the 6 Sikh will turn out guard at the southern side of the Jaipur column for departure. Commanding Officer Colonel S.K. Mohanty, personnel from the 3 services, and we showed you shots of this earlier, have lined up the path with arms on the route and will present arms as the dignitaries pass by.
राष्ट्रपति भवन की भव्यता, प्रांगण दोनों ओर नहर और फव्वारे, और काफिला धीरे धीरे मुख्य द्वार की ओर बढ़ता हुआ। विशाल लोहे का मुख्य द्वार जो विशेष अवसरों पर खोला जाता है, और आज ऐसा ही विशेष अवसर है जब भारत की 15वीं राष्ट्रपति अब से कुछ ही देर में शपथ ग्रहण करेंगी। निवर्तमान राष्ट्रपति श्री रामनाथ कोविंद का कार्यकाल पूरा हो रहा है। और ये काफिला धीरे धीरे रायसीना पहाड़ी से अब विजय चौक की ओर बढ़ता हुआ, वहां से बाईं ओर संसद भवन है जो गंतव्य है इस काफिले का।
It's a very poignant moment, reflective moment for President Ramnath Kovind, and of course a joyous and celebratory moment for Srimati Murmu, but also knowing that she has a task ahead and to serve the country to the best of her ability. The guard and personnel from the 3 services lining the path with the fundamental responsibility of maintaining the integrity of the Constitution of India. The President of the largest democracy in the world is vested with specific legislative and judicial and financial powers, among many others, to ensure that the sanctity of the Constitution is upheld. And Indian democracy is the result of the great gift our founding fathers gave us. The gift of a constitution that, other than being the longest written constitution in the world, holds in its embrace the firmness to provide us solid and strong roots, and the liberalism to give us wings to grow, fly, and change. And as we await the swearing-in ceremony of India's 15th president to take place, Srimati Droupadi Murmu will soon hold with her the sacred responsibility of maintaining the integrity of this constitution as the new president of India.
ये काफिला रायसीना पहाड़ी से विजय चौक की ओर बढ़ता हुआ, और दोनों ओर तीनों सेनाओं के पर्सनल पूरे मार्ग में। बहुत ही खास अवसर, देश के राष्ट्रपति संवैधानिक प्रमुख होते हैं, तीनों सेनाओं के सर्वोच्च कमांडर होते हैं और देश के प्रथम नागरिक होते हैं। बहुत ही खास अवसर जब एक राष्ट्रपति का कार्यकाल पूरा हो रहा है और नई राष्ट्रपति इस पद की जिम्मेदारी अब से कुछ देर में ग्रहण करेंगी।
there invariably is, as a form of mainstream dialogue, a recurring reference to the values a democratic nation rests on. And moving these values from paper to people is the true test of democratic governance. Srimati Murmu, as she will shortly take oath today, will be wanting to ensure that she centers her tenure around these values and principles. The values and principles that she has always held dear, in sync with the form of governance she sits atop as its constitutional head. Principles of action that sustain society and democracy to be stable and successful at both the political and social levels. And it is because the scope of these often are justified and vehemently defended values is so far-reaching that they are debated and discussed at the public level. The President's limousine on its way to gate number 5.
जन कल्याण की यात्रा सतत निरंतर चलती रहती है। भारतीय लोकतंत्र के लिए एक बेहद शानदार दिन, जहां सर्वोच्च संवैधानिक पदों पर किस तरीके से हस्तांतरण होता है, ये इसके हम सब गवाह बन रहे हैं, साक्षी बन रहे हैं। और ये हमारे लोकतंत्र की, हमारी लोकतांत्रिक विरासत की ये खूबसूरत तस्वीर। संसद भवन के निकट पहुंचता हुआ ये काफिला कुछ ही देर में संसद भवन के गेट नंबर 5
Another 2 to 3 minutes when the limousine of the president and the president-elect arrives at gate number 1 of the Parliament of India, where they will be greeted and welcomed by the Vice President, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Lok Sabha Speaker. All of them will be present to welcome them, and then the ceremony begins. At 10:15 in the Central Hall of Parliament, Chief Justice of India, Justice Ramana, will be giving oath to Droupadi Murmu as the 15th President of India. Shehzad Poonawalla of the BJP joins me at this hour on the special broadcast. We also have Rashid Kidwai. I'm going to come to you, Rashid. I think perhaps today is not the day for all those who are saying that the cross-voting, or they are highlighting that she perhaps got less vote than the Dalit, than Ramnath Kovind, her predecessor. Today is a day to talk about just one aspect, that this is about hope, the victory of aspirational India.
Maria, it's a great day. It's a red letter day that not only we have elected a tribal, a woman, someone whose life has been extremely inspirational. Just one quick word about what you were saying. You see, that's very much part and parcel of our democratic process, that we have elections, and when the elections are settled, then the elected person is accepted by all. And the office of president is as such that, the president of India represents everyone, and everyone looks up to the office of president. So that whatever has happened in the past is over. In democracy, there has to be a contest. Out of those, 16 presidential elections, 15 we witnessed a kind of contest. Only one exception was there when there was a kind of consensus in case of Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy. So I think we must not keep looking back at the differences and all. And yes, I think the president would also engage everyone. She's head of parliament. She's a conscience keeper. She's a custodian of Indian constitution. So,
and what a beautiful, beautiful top shot that is of the Parliament of India, which has witnessed several moments of India's freedom movement, and several bills that were passed that define India's republic. That is the cavalcade that is now arriving inside Parliament. Those visuals are of inside Parliament as the President and the President-elect in their limousine arrive inside Parliament for the ceremony and the oath to begin. And today is an interesting day, Shehzad, when we are looking at that editorial that has been penned by Home Minister Amit Shah, where he talks about, yes, this is about people's precedent, but this is about the 9% tribal population who are empowered like never before.
Absolutely, Maria. Maria, first of all, this moment is absolutely, we are standing at the cusp of history that after 70 long years, a community that should have got its right much earlier was denied but is now finally getting the space and the place that it always deserved. And this is not just about optics, Maria. The article or the op-ed written by Amit Shah ji explains in detail that this is also about outcomes. It's not about just perception management, but it is about putting our money where the mouth is. For instance, the Tribal Affairs Ministry was
Hold on to
created
your
by
thoughts.
the NDA.
Let's dip into that audio of Doordarshan because the cavalcade has arrived at gate number 1 of the Parliament of India.
Being welcomed by Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu. Along with him is Chief Justice of India, Mr. N.V. Ramanna, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla as well. Both the outgoing President and the President-elect being accorded the welcome outside the Central Hall of Parliament. That's the tradition, the discipline that, we see every 5 years when the outgoing president escorts the president-elect from the Rashtrapati Bhavan to the parliament premises, wherein in the iconic Central Hall of Parliament, the president-elect takes oath of office. Madam Droupadi Murmu will, in a short while from now, take oath as the 15th President of India in the presence of Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, members of the Union Cabinet, also the Chief Ministers of various states, state governors as well, and a host of other dignitaries in attendance inside the Central Hall of Parliament. Chief Justice of India, Mr. N.V. Ramanna, will administer the oath of office to Madam Droupadi Murmu, who will, in a short while from now, take oath as the 15th President of India from the iconic Central Hall of Parliament.
बिल्कुल अपने आप में ये ऐतिहासिक तस्वीरें कुछ ही पलों में नवनिर्वाचित राष्ट्रपति द्रौपदी मुर्मू देश के सर्वोच्च संवैधानिक पद की शपथ लेंगी। आज़ादी के बाद जन्म लेने वाली वो पहली राष्ट्रपति होंगी। साथ ही दूसरी महिला राष्ट्रपति और जनजातीय समुदाय से राष्ट्रपति पद तक का सफर तय करने वाली पहली महिला।
राष्ट्रपति महोदय, आदेश हो तो निर्वाचन आयोग से प्राप्त निर्वाचित राष्ट्रपति के निर्वाचन का प्रमाणन पढ़ा जाए। यतः भारत के संविधान के अनुच्छेद 324 द्वारा भारत के राष्ट्रपति के पद के निर्वाचन का अधीक्षण, निर्देशन और नियंत्रण भारत निर्वाचन आयोग में निहित है और यतः श्री रामनाथ कोविंद की पदावधि का अवसान वर्ष 2022 के जुलाई मास के 24वें दिन तदनुसार शक संवत के वर्ष 1944 के श्रावण मास के दूसरे दिन होने के लिए नियत है और यतः भारत के राष्ट्रपति के पद को भरने के लिए संविधान तथा राष्ट्रपतीय और उपराष्ट्रपतीय निर्वाचन अधिनियम 1952 के उपबंधों और तदधीन बनाए गए नियमों और आदेशों के अनुसार निर्वाचन करा लिया गया है तथा परिणाम घोषित कर दिया गया है। अब इसलिए भारत निर्वाचन आयोग एतद द्वारा प्रमाणित करता है कि श्रीमती द्रौपदी मुर्मू वर्ष 2022 के जुलाई मास के 21वें दिन तदनुसार शक संवत के वर्ष 1944 के आषाढ़ मास के 30वें दिन भारत के राष्ट्रपति पद के लिए सम्यक रूप से निर्वाचित हो गई हैं। भारत गणराज्य के 73वें वर्ष में हमारे हस्ताक्षर और भारत निर्वाचन आयोग की मोहर से वर्ष 2022 के जुलाई मास के इस 21वें दिन तदनुसार शक संवत के वर्ष 1944 के आषाढ़ मास के 30वें दिन प्रदत्त किया गया।
मैं द्रौपदी मुर्मू
ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूँ कि मैं श्रद्धापूर्वक भारत के राष्ट्रपति के पद का कार्यपालन करूंगी तथा अपनी पूरी योग्यता से संविधान और विधि का परिरक्षण, संरक्षण और प्रतिरक्षण करूंगी और मैं भारत की जनता की सेवा और कल्याण में निरत रहूंगी।
राष्ट्रपति महोदया, आपका आदेश हो तो आपके पद ग्रहण की उद्घोषणा की जाए और उसे भारत के राजपत्र में प्रकाशित किया जाए। इसकी सूचना प्रमुख सेना केंद्रों तथा विदेश स्थित सभी भारतीय मिशनों, राज्य सरकारों तथा संघ शासित प्रदेशों क्षेत्रों के प्रशासकों को भेजी जाए। भारत सरकार के सभी मंत्रालयों और विभागों को भी सूचना तथा आवश्यक आदेश जारी करने हेतु भेजा जाए।
श्री रामनाथ कोविंद जी, उपराष्ट्रपति श्री एम वेंकैया नायडू जी, प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी, लोकसभा के स्पीकर श्री ओम बिरला जी, चीफ जस्टिस एन.वी. रमन्ना जी, सम्मानित सांसदगण, अन्य महानुभावों, देवियों और स्वजनों तथा मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, सभी को जोहार। भारत के सर्वोच्च संवैधानिक पद पर निर्वाचित करने के लिए मैं सभी सांसदों और सभी विधानसभा सदस्यों का हार्दिक आभार व्यक्त करती हूँ। आपका मत देश के करोड़ों नागरिकों के विश्वास की अभिव्यक्ति है। मैं भारत के समस्त नागरिकों की आशा, आकांक्षा और अधिकारों की प्रतीक इस पवित्र संसद से सभी देशवासियों का पूरी विनम्रता से अभिनंदन करता हूं। आपकी आत्मीयता, आपका विश्वास और आपका सहयोग मेरे लिए इस नए दायित्व का निभाने में मेरी बहुत बड़ी ताकत रहेगी। मुझे राष्ट्रपति के रूप में देश ने एक ऐसे महत्वपूर्ण कालखंड में चुना है जब हम अपनी आज़ादी का अमृत महोत्सव मना रहे हैं। आज से कुछ दिन बाद ही देश अपनी स्वाधीनता के 75 वर्ष पूरी करेगा। ये भी एक संयोग है कि जब देश अपनी आज़ादी के 50वें वर्ष का पर्व मना रहा था, तभी मेरे राजनीतिक जीवन की शुरुआत हुई थी। और आज आज़ादी के 75वें वर्ष में मुझे ये नया दायित्व मिला है। इस ऐतिहासिक समय में जब भारत अगले 25 वर्षों के विजन को हासिल करने के लिए पूरी ऊर्जा से जुटा हुआ है, मुझे ये जिम्मेदारी मिलना मेरा बहुत बड़ा सौभाग्य है। मैं देश की ऐसी पहली राष्ट्रपति भी हूँ जिसका जन्म आज़ाद भारत में हुआ है। हमारे स्वाधीनता सेनानियों ने आज़ाद हिंदुस्तान के हम नागरिकों से जो अपेक्षाएं की थी, उनकी पूर्ति के लिए इस अमृत काल में हमें तेज गति से काम करना होगा। इन 25 वर्षों में अमृत काल की सिद्धि का रास्ता 2 पटरी पर आगे बढ़ेगा, सबका प्रयास और सबका कर्तव्य। भारत के उज्जवल भविष्य की नई विकास यात्रा हमें सबके प्रयास से करनी है, कर्तव्य पथ पर चलते हुए करनी ही है। काल यानी 26 जुलाई को कारगिल विजय दिवस भी है। ये दिन भारत की सेनाओं के शौर्य और संयम दोनों का ही प्रतीक है। मैं आज देश की सेनाओं को तथा देश के समस्त नागरिकों को कारगिल विजय दिवस की अग्रिम शुभकामनाएं देती हूँ। देवियों और स्वजनों, मैंने अपनी जीवन यात्रा पूर्वी भारत में ओडिशा के एक छोटे से आदिवासी गांव से शुरू की थी। मैं जिस पृष्ठभूमि से आती हूँ, वहाँ मेरे लिए प्रारंभिक शिक्षा प्राप्त करना भी एक सपने जैसा ही था। लेकिन अनेक बाधाओं के बावजूद मेरा संकल्प दृढ़ रहा और मैं कॉलेज जाने वाली अपने गांव की पहली बेटी थी। मैं जनजातीय समाज से हूँ और वार्ड काउंसिलर से लेकर भारत की राष्ट्रपति बनने तक का अवसर मुझे मिला है। ये लोकतंत्र की जननी भारतवर्ष की महानता है। ये हमारे लोकतंत्र की ही शक्ति है कि उसमें एक गरीब घर के पैदा होने बेटी, दूर सुदूर आदिवासी क्षेत्र में पैदा हुई बेटी भारत के सर्वोच्च संवैधानिक पद तक पहुंच सकती है। राष्ट्रपति के पद पहुंचना मेरी व्यक्तिगत उपलब्धि नहीं है, ये भारत की प्रत्येक गरीब की उपलब्धि है। मेरा निर्वाचन इस बात का सबूत है कि भारत में गरीब सपने भी देख सकता है और उन्हें पूरा भी कर सकता है। और ये मेरे लिए बहुत संतोष की बात है कि जो सदियों से वंचित रहे, जो जीवन विकास के लाभ से दूर रहे, वे गरीब, दलित, पिछड़े तथा आदिवासी मुझे ये अपना प्रतिबिंब देख सकते हैं। मेरे इस निर्वाचन में देश के गरीब व का आशीर्वाद शामिल है। देश की करोड़ों महिलाओं और बेटियों के सपनों और सामर्थ्य की झलक है। मेरे इस निर्वाचन में पुराने लीग से हटकर नए रास्ते पर चलने वाले भारत के आज के युवाओं का साहस भी शामिल है। ऐसे प्रगतिशील भारत का नेतृत्व करते हुए आज मैं खुद को गौरवान्वित महसूस कर रही हूँ। मैं आज समस्त देशवासियों को, विशेषकर भारत के युवाओं को तथा भारत की महिलाओं को ये विश्वास दिलाती हूँ कि इस पद पर कार्य करते हुए मेरे लिए उनके हित सर्वोपरि होंगे। देवियों और स्वजनों, मेरे सामने भारत के राष्ट्रपति पद की ऐसी महान विरासत है जिसने विश्व में भारतीय लोकतंत्र की प्रतिष्ठा का निरंतर मजबूत किया है। देश के प्रथम राष्ट्रपति डॉक्टर राजेंद्र प्रसाद से लेकर श्री रामनाथ कोविंद जी तक अनेक विभूतियों ने इस पद को सुशोभित किया है। इस पद के साथ साथ देश ने इस महान परंपरा के प्रतिनिधित्व का दायित्व भी मुझे सौंपा है। संविधान के आलोक में मैं पूरी निष्ठा से अपने कर्तव्यों का निर्वहन करूंगी। मेरे लिए भारत के लोकतांत्रिक सांस्कृतिक आदर्श और सभी देशवासी हमेशा मेरे ऊर्जा के स्रोत रहेंगे। देवियों और स्वजनों, हमारे संवैधानिक संग्राम में, स्वाधीनता संग्राम में एक राष्ट्र के तौर पर भारत की नई यात्रा की रूपरेखा तैयार की है। हमारा स्वाधीनता संग्राम उन संघर्षों और बलिदानों की अविरल धारा है जिसने आज़ाद भारत के लिए कितनी ही आदर्शों और संभावनाओं की सिंचा था। पूज्य बापू ने हमें स्वराज, स्वदेशी, स्वच्छता और सत्याग्रह द्वारा भारत के सांस्कृतिक आदर्शों की स्थापना का मार्ग दिखाया था। नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस, नेहरू जी, सरदार पटेल, बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर, भगत सिंह, सुखदेव, राजगुरु, चंद्रशेखर आजाद जैसे अनगिनत स्वाधीनता सेनानियों ने हमें राष्ट्र के स्वाभिमान को सर्वोपरि रखने की शिक्षा दी थी। रानी लक्ष्मीबाई, रानी वेलु नाचियार, रानी गाईदिन्लु और रानी चेन्निमा जैसी अनेकों वीरांगनाओं ने राष्ट्र इच्छा और राष्ट्र निर्माण में नारी शक्ति की भूमिका को नई ऊर्जा दी है। संथाल क्रांति, पाइक क्रांति से लेकर कोल क्रांति और भील क्रांति ने स्वतंत्रता संग्राम में आदिवासी योगदान को और सशक्त किया। सामाजिक उत्थान एवं देश प्रेम के लिए धरती आबा भगवान बिरसा मुंडा जी के बलिदान से हमें प्रेरणा मिली थी। मुझे खुशी है कि आज़ादी की लड़ाई में जनजातीय समुदाय के योगदान को समर्पित अनेक म्यूजियम देश भर में बनवाया जा रहा है। देवियों और स्वजनों, एक संसदीय लोकतंत्र के रूप में 75 वर्ष में भारत ने प्रगति के संकल्प को सहभागिता एवं सर्वसम्मति से आगे बढ़ाया है। विविधताओं से भरे अपने देश में हम अनेक भाषा, धर्म, संप्रदाय, खान पान, रहन सहन, रीति रिवाजों का अपनाते हुए एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत के निर्माण में सक्रिय है। आज़ादी के 75वें वर्ष के अवसर पर आया है अमृतकाल। भारत के लिए नए संकल्पों का कालखंड है। आज मैं इस नए युग के स्वागत में अपने देश को नई सोच के साथ तत्पर और तैयार देख रही हूँ। भारत आज हर क्षेत्र में विकास का नया अध्याय जोड़ रहा है। कोरोना महामारी के वैश्विक संकट का सामना करने में भारत ने जिस तरह का सामर्थ्य दिखाया है, उसने पूरे विश्व में भारत की साख बढ़ाया है। हम हिंदुस्तानियों ने अपने प्रयासों से न सिर्फ इस वैश्विक चुनौती का सामना किया, बल्कि दुनिया के सामने नए मापदंड भी स्थापित की। कुछ दिन पहले भारत ने कोरोना वैक्सीन की 200 करोड़ डोज लगाने का कीर्तिमान बनाया। इस पूरी लड़ाई में भारत के लोगों ने जिस संयम, साहस और सहयोग का परिचय दिया, वो एक समाज के रूप में हमारी बढ़ती हुई शक्ति और संवेदनशीलता का प्रतीक है। भारत ने इन मुश्किल हालात में न केवल खुद को संभाला, बल्कि दुनिया की मदद भी की। कोरोना महामारी से बने माहौल में आज दुनिया भारत को नए विश्वास से देख रही है। दुनिया की आर्थिक स्थिरता के लिए, सप्लाई चेन की सुगमता के लिए और वैश्विक शांति के लिए दुनिया को भारत से बहुत उम्मीदें हैं। आगामी महीनों में भारत अपनी अध्यक्षता में G20 ग्रुप की मेजबानी भी करने जा रही है। इसमें दुनिया के 20 बड़े देश भारत की अध्यक्षता में वैश्विक विषयों पर मंथन करेंगे। मुझे विश्वास है भारत में होने वाले इस मंथन से जो निष्कर्ष और नीतियां निर्धारित होंगे, उनसे आने वाले दशकों की दिशा तय होगी। देवियों और स्वजनों, दशकों पहले मुझे रायरंगपुर में श्री अरबिंदो इंटीग्रल स्कूल में शिक्षक के रूप में कार्य करने का अवसर मिला था। कुछ ही दिनों के बाद श्री अरबिंदो जी की 150वीं जन्म जयंती मनाई जाएगी। शिक्षा के बारे में श्री अरबिंदो के विचारों ने मुझे निरंतर प्रेरित किया है। जनप्रतिनिधि के रूप में विभिन्न पदों पर कार्य करते हुए और फिर राज्यपाल के रूप में भी मेरा शिक्षण संस्थानों के साथ सक्रिय जुड़ाव रहा है। मैंने देश के युवाओं के उत्साह और आत्मबल को करीब से देखा है। हम सभी के श्रद्धेय अटल जी कहा करते थे कि देश के युवा जब आगे बढ़ते हैं तो वे सिर्फ अपने ही भाग्य नहीं बनाते, बल्कि देश का भी भाग्य बनाते हैं। आज हम इसे सोच होते देख रहे हैं। वोकल फॉर लोकल से लेकर डिजिटल इंडिया तक हर क्षेत्र में आगे बढ़ रहा आज का भारत विश्व के साथ कदम से कदम मिलाकर औद्योगिक क्रांति 4.0 के लिए पूरी तरह भारत तैयार है। रिकॉर्ड संख्या में बन रहे स्टार्टअप्स में नए इनोवेशंस में दूर सुदूर क्षेत्रों में डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी की स्वीकार्यता में भारत के युवाओं की बड़ी भूमिका है। बीती वर्षों में भारत ने जिस तरह महिला सशक्तिकरण के लिए निर्णय लिए हैं, नीतियां बनाई गई है, इससे भी देश में एक नई शक्ति का संचार हुआ है। मैं चाहती हूँ कि हमारी सभी बहनें व बेटियां अधिक से अधिक सशक्त हो तथा वे देश के हर क्षेत्र में अपना योगदान बढ़ाती रहें। मैं अपने देश के युवाओं से कहना चाहती हूँ कि आप न केवल अपने भविष्य का निर्माण कर रहे हैं बल्कि भविष्य के भारत की नींव भी रख रहे हैं। देश के राष्ट्रपति के तौर पर मेरा हमेशा आपको पूरा सहयोग रहेगा। देवियों और सुजों, विकास और प्रगतिशीलता का अर्थ निरंतर आगे बढ़ना होता है, लेकिन साथ ही अपने अतीत का ज्ञान भी उतना ही आवश्यक है। आज जो विश्व सस्टेनेबल प्लैनेट की बात कर रहे हैं तो उसमें भारत की प्राचीन परंपराओं, हमारे अतीत की सस्टेनेबल लाइफस्टाइल की भूमिका और बढ़ जाती है। मेरा जन्म तो उस जनजातीय परंपरा से हुआ है जिसने हजारों वर्ष से प्रकृति के साथ तालमेल बनाकर जीवन को आगे बढ़ाया है। मैंने जंगल और जलाशयों के महत्व को अपने जीवन में महसूस किया है। हम प्रकृति से जरूरी संसाधन लेते हैं और उतनी ही श्रद्धा से प्रकृति से सेवा भी करते हैं। यहाँ संवेदनशीलता का आज वैश्विक अनिवार्यता बन गया है। मुझे इस बात की प्रसन्नता है कि भारत पर्यावरण संरक्षण के क्षेत्र में विश्व का मार्गदर्शक बन रहा है। देवियों और स्वजन, मैंने अपने अब तक के जीवन में जौन सेवा में ही जीवन की सार्थकता को अनुभव किया है। श्री जगन्नाथ क्षेत्र के एक प्रख्यात कवि भीम भोई जी की कविता की एक पंक्ति है, मो जीवन पचे नर के पड़ी थाउ जगत उद्धार। अर्थात अपने जीवन के हित और हित से बड़ा जगत कल्याण के लिए कार्य करना होता है। जगत कल्याण की इसी भावना के साथ मैं आप सब के विश्वास पर खरा उतरने के लिए पूरी निष्ठा व लगन से काम करने के लिए सदैव तत्पर रहूँगी। आइए हम सभी एकजुट होकर समर्पित भाव से कर्तव्य पथ पर आगे बढ़े तथा वैभवशाली व आत्मनिर्भर भारत का निर्माण करें। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद। जय।
Honorable President, Srimati Droupadi Murmu ji, respected Sri Ramnath Kovind ji, Prime Minister Sri Narendra Bhai Modi ji, Speaker of Lok Sabha Sri Om Birla ji, Chief Justice of India Sri N.V. Ramana ji, respected parliamentarians, other dignitaries, brothers and sisters, and my dear fellow citizens, Namaskar. Madam President, you have just addressed the members of the Parliament. I wish to read a few paragraphs from the English version of the address, and the rest of Rest may be considered as read in view of the time constraint. I express my heartfelt gratitude to all members of Parliament and legislative assemblies for electing me to the highest constitutional post of India. Brothers and sisters, we have to work at a fast pace in this Amrit Kal to fulfill the expectations of our freedom fighters from the citizens of independent India. In these 25 years, the path to attain the goals of Amrit Kal will proceed on two tracks, Sabka Prayas or Sabka Kartavya, everyone's efforts and everyone's duty. The new development journey towards the bright future of India has to be undertaken by our collective efforts following the path of duty. We will be observing Kargil Vijay Divas tomorrow, July 26th. This day is a symbol of both the bravery and the restraint of the Indian armed forces. Today, I extend my best wishes in advance to the armed forces of the country and to all the citizens of India. Brothers and sisters, growth and progress mean continuously marching ahead. But equally important is awareness about one's past. Today, when the world is talking about sustainable planet, the role of India's ancient traditions and sustainable lifestyle becomes more important. I was born in the tribal tradition which has lived in harmony with the nature for thousands of years. I have realized the importance of forests and water bodies in my life. We take necessary resources from nature and serve nature with equal reverence. This sensitivity has become a global imperative today. I'm happy that India is guiding the world in the field of environmental protection. Brothers and sisters, in my life so far, I have realized the meaning of life only through public service. There is a line from the poem of Bhim Bhoi Ji, a famous poet of Sri Jagannath Kshetra. Mo jivana bacche, narke paditao, jagata uddar hev. That is, working for the welfare of the world is far greater than one's own interest. With the spirit of welfare of the world, it always be ready to work. All of us, with full devotion and dedication, to live up to the trust you all have reposed in me. Let us all unite and move forward on the path of duty with a dedicated spirit to build a glorious and self-reliant India. Thank you. Jai Hind.
राष्ट्रपति महोदया, आपकी आज्ञा हो तो समारोह की कार्यवाही समाप्त की जाए।
नमस्ते करेंगे।
oath ceremony of Droupadi Murmu is over. She is the President of India. Now, post this ceremony, we are seeing those visuals of the outgoing President. Her predecessor, Ramnath Kovind, accompanying her. Those are the visuals that are coming in. Also of the Vice President, Venkaiah Naidu. Justice Ramanna has left the venue, that is the Central Hall of Parliament. An emotional speech being delivered by the President, where she said that the interest of women and youth will be paramount, and her first responsibility. She talked about her struggle, her journey, which began from a district in Orissa, Rairangpur, where it all began. We are seeing those visuals where Ramnath Kovind, the outgoing President, the Lok Sabha Speaker, all of them are leaving the Central Hall of Parliament, which will now be followed by the President taking the salute at the gate in the Parliament, which will be followed by the President and the former President arriving at Rashtrapati Bhavan. The President will take the salute at the forecourt of Rashtrapati Bhavan, and then the President and former President will be driven to North Court and taken to the Kaveri, which is the committee room. So it's a day of rituals, the day of tradition, the day of ceremony, where India has got its first tribal president, the youngest president as well. Let's listen in.
Along with other dignitaries now leaving for the Rashtrapati Bhavan.
President Droupadi Murmu spoke about the capability that India has shown in facing the global crisis of corona pandemic and how India has enhanced its credibility all over the world. She spoke about how her priority would be, how it is an important day, particularly for the tribal community of India. We are seeing the dignitaries now leave the Parliament of India, then the President and the former President will be heading to the Rashtrapati Bhavan. It's an important day for India, a historic day for India, as we witness those visuals come in from the Parliament, where all the dignitaries will now be heading to the respective homes, but the President and the former President Ramnath Kovind will be going to the Rashtrapati Bhavan, that is the seat of the highest constitutional office of the country. Shehzad Poonawalla, we are looking at those visuals and of course the address of the new president, where she emphasized about her journey, a journey full of tragedy and also full of struggle and many firsts. The fact that she was the first girl from the Santhal community to leave her district to travel to Bhubaneswar for her studies, and how it was a big deal even then to ensure that she completes her studies and her middle education.
Maria, first of all, let me congratulate you, your channel and all your viewers on this historic occasion of the 15th president being sworn in, and she truly represents the idea of Naya Bharat. Maria, look at what has happened ever since particularly 2014. We have somebody who's the people's prime minister, we have somebody who is now the people's president who's taken oath, and we've also seen the transition towards the people's Padma. And this is what I call as a moment of reclamation of the republic. We were always a republic. Of course, we were written republic in the constitution. But this transfer of power that we have witnessed, all of us on your channel, is a transfer of power from certain elites in the corridors of power to the people, to the gullies and the nukkars of Gujarat, or to the back and beyond of Odisha. That transfer of power has taken place, and that's what we've witnessed, and truly historic. And let me just connect it with what Shri Amit Shah ji has said today. It is not just about optics, Maria. It's not just about making the second woman president or the first tribal president. It's also about outcomes. Look at what the NDA has done, whether it's the Tribal Affairs Ministry, whether it's Prime Minister Narendra Modi representing and giving representation to SC, ST, OBCs within the cabinet, whether it is the 4-time increase in the ST plan budget, whether it is giving opportunities to the communities for aspirational growth, whether that is through Jal Jeevan Mission, the Nal Se Jal. One of the most biggest problems in the village of Droupadi Murmu ji was of water. I've seen reports of that. But today we are sending taps to people's houses. We are building houses. We are giving them rations. We are giving them toilets. This empowerment through education and aspirational welfare.
Let's listen into that audio that is coming in from the Doordarshan now. And former president now leaving the Parliament House, that is Gate 1 of Parliament of India, and heading to the Rashtrapati Bhavan. As Droupadi Murmu says that this is the achievement of every poor in India. This is not my personal achievement. An important paragraph in her speech which she delivered just few minutes ago. She said, "It is a matter of great satisfaction to me that those who have been deprived for centuries, who have been away from the benefits of development, those poor, downtrodden, backward and tribal, are seeing their reflection and in me. This is the victory of aspirational India. This is the mainstreaming of those who were marginalized, who were living on the margins of India, and that's what this is signifying, Rashid Kidwai, as we look at those visuals. As Droupadi Murmu rightly said, that this is not just about her personal journey. It is also an achievement for every poor in India. The audacity of hope, as I call it, the journey that began in Rairangpur in Odisha. A young Santhal girl is now the President of India, the youngest president at the age of 64.
Yes, Maria, indeed, this is a very proud day, and it's a very inspirational story. And the way she spoke today, Honorable President Droupadi Murmu, the way she spoke directly from heart. I mean, it was someone who was actually telling a story of India and how it has evolved over years and progressed and developed. It's been work in progress. There were several presidents and our leading politicians who came from modest background and made it work. So it's a work in progress. I hope and pray that now she's representing entire India, and particularly if we're talking about tribals, their socioeconomic conditions improve further. There are a lot of disturbing things like crime against tribals and Dalits and women, and we need to somehow put an end to it. So in that sense, I think it's a job and responsibility of the government. When we talk about outcomes also must include all these things. All the best to her.
Droupadi Murmu, their 15th president, that is that's near the Vijay Chowk in Delhi. That cavalcade of the 15th president now going to move. It's a distance of roughly 500 to 600 meters from the Parliament of India to the Raisina Hill, and that entire movement on the Rajpath. It's grand. It's reflection of the glory of India. And a paragraph again from her speech where she said, "My nomination is a reflection of dreams, capabilities of crores of women." She said after taking oath as the 15th president, "Satisfying to me that the people who were devoid of development for years, the poor, Dalits, backwards and the tribals, can see as their reflection. My nomination has blessings of the poor behind it. It's a reflection of the dreams and capabilities of crores of women." India has got also its second woman president, or someone who reflects and is representing 50% of women, 50% of our population, that is the women of our country. That is the Rajpath next to the north and the south block. We'll get the long shot perhaps that will come in from Doordarshan, but the larger image is the movement of the president's limousine that's now going to enter the Raisina Hill in just few minutes. What fantastic visuals. Let's listen in and dip into the audio of Doordarshan.
As the president's bodyguard escort the president's carcade towards Rashtrapati Bhavan, personnel of the armed forces lined on either side of the path, going up the Raisina Hill, salute and present. It's a special day for the nation, not only because of Srimati Murmu's selection and election as president, a great message for democracy in itself, but also witnessing the graceful, smooth transition of power. The exchanging of positions as seated in the vehicle, the exchanging of positions as seated in the study, all indicative of how power transitions. The seat of power, the North Block, the South Block, the seat of governance, Parliament House, all standing silent witness to this special moment.
ये समारोह बेहद भव्य और परंपरा से भरा हुआ, इसमें ध्यान से देखें तो ये समझ में आएगा कि किस तरह शपथ ग्रहण से पहले और बाद में जो क्रम होता है पूर्व राष्ट्रपति का और वर्तमान राष्ट्रपति का, वो किस प्रकार से बदलता है। और यही हमारे इस प्रजातंत्र की विशेषता है, जहां हस्तांतरण सर्वोच्च संवैधानिक पद पर जिस प्रकार से होता है वो मिसाल है। और पारंपरिक भव्यता के साथ इन कर्तव्यों का निर्वाह किया जाता है। एक नया अध्याय भारत के प्रजातांत्रिक इतिहास में जुड़ता हुआ भारत की 15वीं राष्ट्रपति श्रीमती द्रौपदी मुर्मू और उनके साथ अब पूर्व राष्ट्रपति श्री रामनाथ कोविंद राष्ट्रपति भवन की ओर अग्रसर हैं। विजय चौक से रायसीना पहाड़ी की ओर दोनों ओर तीनों सेवाओं के पर्सनल तैनात उन्हें सम्मान देते हुए और सजीले घुड़सवार अंगरक्षक रायसीना पहाड़ी पर मुख्य द्वार जो भव्यता का प्रतीक, इस भव्य और आलीशान इमारत राष्ट्रपति भवन का, यहां से काफिला अब इसके मुख्य प्रांगण की ओर।
We can see the imposing dome, the Jaipur column, and the pathway leading up to the forecourt of Rashtrapati Bhavan. With high positions comes a higher sense of responsibility. Power has as its companion, a constant companion, responsibility. The working on the advice of the elected government, the President of India, is the protector of the Constitution. Srimati Murmu, as our new President, will hold in her heart and her hands a responsibility to ensure that the last mile, the last person is connected, interconnected, and belongs to a nation called India, a nation that is progressing. The last person has an equal share in the growth, prosperity, and progress of the nation to actually make democracy truly meaningful.
बिल्कुल, अपने कार्यकाल के दौरान ऐसे कई क्षण होते हैं, कई अवसर होते हैं जब राष्ट्रपति की भूमिका बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण हो जाती है और राष्ट्रपति श्रीमती द्रौपदी मुर्मू, जिन्हें सामाजिक जीवन का, जिनका अपना खुद का जीवन सादा और ज़मीन से उनका जुड़ाव, वो समझती हैं एक साधारण व्यक्ति के दर्द को भी, उसके संघर्ष को भी, उसकी आकांक्षाओं को भी, भविष्य के उनके निर्णयों के लिए उनका ये अनुभव बहुत ही सार्थक और बहुत ही प्रासंगिक होगा। देश के सर्वोच्च संवैधानिक पद पर देश के प्रत्येक व्यक्ति के हित के लिए निर्णय लेते हुए उनका अपना निजी अनुभव, जो उनका जीवन है, वो अनुकरणीय है।
In fact, Srimati Droupadi Murmu started her political career at the grassroots level as a councillor. And after that, her movement upwards, also as the first woman governor of Jharkhand. She has faced immense challenges. She has had to take many important decisions. But now she will be keeping the nation and the Constitution ahead of all her decisions, arriving here at the forecourt of Rashtrapati Bhavan to her official residence now.
पूर्व राष्ट्रपति श्री रामनाथ कोविंद का आगमन राष्ट्रपति भवन के प्रांगण में राष्ट्रपति श्रीमती द्रौपदी मुर्मू
राष्ट्रपति अंगरक्षक सलामी देगा, राष्ट्रीय सल्यूट मध्य टेक।
PBG Commandant Colonel Anup Tawari giving the command. The President of India, Srimati Droupadi Murmu, boarding her vehicle along with former President Shri Ramnath Kovind.
काफिला नॉर्थ कोर्ट की ओर बढ़ता हुआ, जहां से अब राष्ट्रपति और पूर्व राष्ट्रपति कमेटी रूम की तरफ जाएंगे।
here at the North Court, awaiting the arrival of the new president, personnel and staff of Rashtrapati Bhavan. Greeting their new president.
राष्ट्रपति भवन स्वागत कर रहा है नए राष्ट्रपति का, श्रीमती द्रौपदी मुर्मू और उनके साथ पूर्व राष्ट्रपति श्री रामनाथ कोविंद।
The president moves towards the committee room and also her new office and her new residence.
राष्ट्रपति भवन के इस भव्य गलियारे पर पूर्व राष्ट्रपतियों के चित्र, कावेरी जो कमेटी रूम है उस ओर प्रस्थान।
This magnificent building, sandstone, pink and cream, the Rashtrapati Bhavan has a fabulous history of its own.
News just coming in. Mehbooba Mufti has tweeted attacking the outgoing president Ramnath Kovind. I'm reading a tweet. She said, the outgoing president leaves behind a legacy where the Indian constitution was trampled upon umpteenth times, be it scrapping of Article 370, Citizenship Amendment Act, or the unabashed targeting of minorities and Dalits. He fulfilled BJP's political agenda, all at the cost of the Indian constitution. So a sharp attack coming in there from the PDP Supremo, Mehbooba Mufti. Why has she chosen today? Does it not leave a bad precedent? Certainly. Mehbooba Mufti there, Shweta Shalini of the BJP, launching an all-out attack against the outgoing president, the previous president, Ramnath Kovind. Shweta Shalini, if you can hear me.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes, I think today is a historical day. Let me first congratulate Srimati Droupadi Murmu ji, because she has created history. For me personally, I think as a woman, she represents a powerful woman who's come from the grassroots and made her way up through her own hard work. Second, I think as a youth leader myself, it is amazing that we now have a president in a young country where who was born after independence. And last but not
it's a historic day for India, certainly, where Droupadi Murmu, born in independent India, has taken oath. What a fantastic day. What a historic moment for all of us. And this is an achievement of every poor in India. That's what the new president has said, and certainly it's a big day. As we have been saying, she is the daughter born in remote tribal area, and she signifies that hope. She is the audacity of hope, that someone who comes from back of beyond of India, someone who comes from a very, very humble background, can rise to the occasion and become the occupant of the highest constitutional post of India. Those are the visuals coming in as the entire ceremony has come to an end. The office, which is an office in continuity, it has a new president. She is Droupadi Murmu, Mahamahim Droupadi Murmu, as we see the new president of India. What a fantastic day for India and all of us. She is symbolic of what the BJP talks about, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Prayas, and Sabka Vishwas. It's about that faith that India can have its first tribal president, and what a year it is. It is the year where India is celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Shweta, let's focus on the historic day that we are witnessing. We are seeing history unfold. The highest constitutional office of India has the first tribal president as its occupant.
So yes, that's exactly what I've been saying. I think let's not spoil this day, because today is an amazing day. She represents 60 crore women. She represents 13.5 crore tribal population of India and stands for hope for all of them. It took about 70 long years, but yes, today is the day. And I'm so happy because the socio-economic empowerment and representation of the tribal community has been BJP's ideology for a very long time. I think it is the tribal affairs ministry was started by Atalji long back, and since then Modi ji has taken one step ahead. And how so? So proudly, because now a young country has a young leader who has been born post-independence and represents grassroots hard work. I personally feel that post all the independence struggles that the tribals have seen, and the heroes like Birsa Munda, and of course we've seen Janjatiya Gaurav Divas being celebrated on 15th of November, I think we have another hero who's come from the tribal grassland, and which is huge, right? From you look at the number of states that the tribals covered, and the kind of ignorance that the rest of India actually has for the entire community, the kind of work that the entire community needs, and the power of the constitution that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar ji has given, where he actually said it is this beauty of the constitution which actually said that the last mile, the last person can work hard and reach to the top and can represent India. I, as a woman, I, as a youth leader, I'm so proud today, because this woman is going to represent my India across the globe, and across the globe, every country is going to see
summed up
that
Shweta pretty well. When the president delivered her first address inside the Central Hall of Parliament, in presence of all the dignitaries of the country, she said, "My election is evidence that the poor in India can not just dream, but also fulfill those dreams." I am taking a short break, but that remains our top focus here on CNN News 18. This is a special broadcast where India has seen history. We are witnessing the victory of aspirational India. This is new India, where India has got its first tribal president. She is a woman and also someone who comes from Santhal community. She represents aspirational India. We are slipping into a short break. Lots more news and updates on the other side.
And I hope to see you in a lot of good projects.
Thank you.
That back your talent, that back your ambition, and your view of your future.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Rishi was born in England, in Southampton, I'm told, but his family comes from the Punjab, proper Punjab, all right? So he's got his antecedents, he's got his relatives, and they're all there and they're all cheering. Here's one of them. Balbir, hi, and firstly, how are you related to Rishi?
Hey, sunuk sunuk sun sunuk sunuk sun sunuk sunuk sun sarara ha sunuk sunuk sun sunuk sunuk sun sunuk sunuk sun sarara sunuk sunuk sun sunuk sun.
It's the end of Rule Britannia. Rule Britannia! Sunak 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 sunak. Just gone. The world is changing. Nice touch, sir. Nice touch. Sorry to butt in though, of course, but can you tell us how you, Balbir, are related to Rishi Sunak?
Oh, Veere, I am his chachi's second cousin's uncle by marriages, daughter's closest friends in school, mother's third cousin, sister-in-laws, stepbrothers, adopted.
Okay, I think I get it. That's fine. That's fine.
Neighbors, Fufa's grandmother, second cousins, half brothers, illegitimate sons, first wives, incubator babies, nephews, cousins, uncles, sisters. Oh, वीरे यार मैं खुद confused हो गया.
Okay, it's very unnecessary. I understand there's no blood relation whatsoever. I understand that. Let's just get to the point. You know him vaguely. Anyone else interested in this connection, please Google Rishi Sunak and Balbir. We don't have time on this show. Balbir.
Oh, Veere. It's Balbi. R is silent, R is silent.
I've grown up with Punjabis. There's nobody called Balbir who becomes Balbi unless he's in France and they decide not to say the last letter. Balbi. What the hell's going on? Okay, all right. Let's just move on to the main question, which is the village that you are from is called what?
Oh, Chota Jalandhar.
Chota Jalandhar?
Commonly known as Southampton.
Southampton, Hampshire, southern England.
Or Western Punjab, Veere, Western Punjab.
That's actually quite intelligent. I like that. That's correct. Of course, inaccurate geographically, but we won't get into it. This is getting nowhere. Let's get to the main questions.
Oh, go ahead, yaar. Puchna. Sut de. Oh, Rishi and I grew up together, yaar. I know everything about him. Intimate details, Veere.
Intimate details such as?
Oh, he bowls left-handed but throws right-handed. He's good at bhangna but only can put up one leg like this.
But everyone can only put one leg up at a time. If you put both legs up simultaneously, you will fall.
Exactly, Veere. That's what happened to Boris Johnson.
Achha, you set me up for that. Excellent. Well done, sir. Well played. Left hand and right hand together. Coming to that, they were once best mates, Rishi and Boris, and now hate each other.
Oh, hello. Oi. Eknath Shinde used to call Uddhav Thackeray Sahab.
That's correct.
Now he doesn't even take his calls. To menu das raha yaar, come on.
That's true. And Boris Johnson told his colleagues to back anyone at all except Rishi Sunak.
Veere, worse. He even told Rishi Sunak to not support Rishi Sunak.
He told Rishi Sunak not to support Rishi Sunak. It's like that guy in my ear who keeps coming and saying, I've left Shiv Sena for Shiv Sena. The world is going very, very fast way. My God, so this is real hatred. What's the controversy, if we can just move along here, to the wife, Akshata? What is the controversy there that they're going on about?
Oh, nothing, yaar, Veere, nothing, no controversy. She was accused of not filing proper tax returns as she was formerly not a UK citizen. But they have solved that, yaar.
How? How?
Oh, Akshata is paying tax in UK, India, America and 5 other countries in European Union, even though it is not required, just to be safe.
So what you're saying is...
Welcome back. News just coming in. This relates to Chhapra Cracker Factory blast. ATS has reached the spot to investigate the nature of blast and kind of explosives that have been recovered. 5 people of one family died due to blast in an illegal firecracker factory on Sunday. FSL team has also reached the spot and collection of explosives are currently underway. After Bhagalpur blast in March, where 14 people died, this is the second biggest blast which happened in Bihar. Let's listen in to the reactions that have come in from ground zero.
हम लोग फॉरेंसिक की टीम भी बुला रहे हैं और बॉम्ब डिस्पोजल स्क्वाड की भी टीम को बुला रहे हैं और पूरे चीज़ को हटाने के बाद पता चलेगा कि वहाँ से जो प्रदर्शन हमें मिलेंगे उससे स्पष्ट हो पाएगा कि ये पटाखा जो है वो फैक्ट्री में किस प्रकार से आग लगने की घटना हुई है और उसमें किस तरह के तत्व पाए जाते हैं। हम लोग यहाँ पर पता लगा रहे हैं कि ये बना रहे थे तो अवैध तरीके से बना रहे थे कि अनुज्ञप्तिधारी थे और इन चीज़ों का पता लगा करके आवश्यक कानूनी कार्रवाई की जाएगी। साथ ही साथ पूरे ज़िले में भी जो है जहाँ भी इस तरह की चीज़ है जो अवैध तरीके से बन रहे हैं उनके बारे में भी आसूचना संकलन करके ऐसे जगहों पर छापामारी करके उसको बंद भी कराया जाएगा और उनके विरुद्ध विधिक सम्मत कार्रवाई भी की जाएगी।
छपरा के खुदाई बाग में पटाखा फैक्ट्री में विस्फोट के बाद 3 लोगों की मौत हो गई है और 2 लोगों को अस्पताल में भर्ती कराया गया है। हम दिखाना चाहेंगे कि मेडिकल टीम यहां पहुंची हुई, आप देख सकते हैं कई एम्बुलेंस लाए गए हैं घटनास्थल पर और ये एम्बुलेंस जो है मरीजों को जो यहाँ घायल है उनको लेकर के अस्पताल की तरफ जा रहे हैं। कहीं ना कहीं एक पूरी तरह से अफरा तफरी का माहौल यहाँ बना हुआ और ये जो घायल है उनको अस्पताल पहुंचाया गया है। 2 की संख्या में जो घायल है उन्हें अस्पताल पहुंचाया गया है। आप देख सकते हैं बाजार का जो ये नज़ारा है, बड़ी संख्या में लोग यहाँ इस नज़ारे को देखने आए हैं। तरह तरह की अफवाहें भी उड़ रही है। आप देख सकते हैं कि जो तमाम लोग हैं वो तमाशबीन बने हुए यहाँ देखने के लिए आए हैं, कोई बोलने के लिए तैयार नहीं है और जो स्थिति यहाँ पे इलाके में फिलहाल अफरा तफरी की बनी हुई है और जो घायलों को है मेडिकल टीम लगातार यहाँ से अस्पताल की तरफ ले जा रही है।
5 people of a family died because of this blast. It's an illegal cracker factory that is being talked about. And let me bring Saurav Rathod now, who's joining me on the phone line. Saurav, this is the ATS which has reached the spot. What else can you tell us?
This is the second incident in last 3 months. In March, we had witnessed a massive blast in Bhagalpur where 14 people died in the same manner in a illegal cracker factory there, and more than 10 people were injured, and the blast intensity was such that the nearby buildings were also damaged. Similar manner, yesterday the blast that took place there at this 3-story building, it was of the same impact, and it was suspected that a huge amount of explosive was stored in that house, and it was alleged that because the cylinder in the house that was kept there that got exploded, and because of that, the massive fire that took place, it created a big impact in the area of around 3 kilometers. The impact was felt, and such was the intensity of the blast. Also, the 3-story building became rubble, and nothing was left over there. Fortunately, there were families, more than 5 families living in that building, and all of them were out for work. But unfortunately, the family of they were working over there. There was a shop of cycle repair and other clothes shop was there, and the family was staying over there. And the blast took place at 10:35, killing all the 5 people. In fact, a small kid was injured. Now she is hospitalized. We are yet to receive information about her health. But the blast was of high intensity, and after that, FSL team from
family,
Patna,
were they the ones running this factory?
Yes, they were. It is said that they were the only one. They were running the factory behind the shop, because the shop was outside in the front of that building, but the factory was inside the building. So the blast that took place, it created a massive impact and killing all those 5 people over there. And also a kid was injured. Now the team of ATS also reached over there, took the samples. FSL team also took the samples, and now they are investigating the matter as to what was the intensity, how much was the explosive, what was the nature of the explosive. All these investigations are going on, and the DM has assured proper action will be taken once the investigation gets over.
All right, Saurav, thank you so much for joining us. We are slipping into a short break. Lots more news and updates on the other side.
Even what she said about the mascara, I think people misconstrued it. I think what she did try to say was, you could tell that I was wearing mascara and you shouldn't be able to for the character that I'm playing. I think she wouldn't have any of those concerns in Jerry, because apart from the freckles that they've put on my face, I'm wearing almost nothing.
Quickly, staying on that, everyone is on about this pan-Indian thing, pan-Indian film, exploring other genres, but you have a great foothold in Tamil Nadu, in the Tamil industry. People know you as Sridevi's daughter. Why would you not consider doing that?
Trust me, I've more than considered it. Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, I'm dying to do a South film, and not just now. I've been saying this since when? Before I signed Dhadak, I think there was a very genuine discussion about if I want to do a South film first. See, the thing is, if you all think that mom has a huge legacy in the Hindi film industry, her legacy in the South is far greater.
Huge,
And I feel like the people over there really take ownership of you, and I can feel their love every time I'm there. And I don't want to let them down. I want to justify their love. So I don't just want to do anything. I really want to do something that will make them feel like it's been worth their time.
So एक villain returns और एक villain के साथ he also returns. Now I don't know who is he. Either it has to be John Abraham or Arjun Kapoor. So who's the villain? Who's the husband? एक villain was supposed to be Arjun, a very profitable franchise, a very profitable film. It was made on a budget of roughly 40 crores. And it garnered around 170 crores worldwide. So which means people loved the story and the thrill and everything. Is that the reason why you loved to be a part of this?
The most interesting part about this film is कि आपने कहा कि अर्जुन या जॉन है इस फिल्म की, वही खासियत है कि तारा और दिशा भी हो सकते हैं. And that's what the intrigue is. If you see the trailer, if you notice, the answers to the questions that normally would come through in a trailer, we've not given. So we've not made you choose a side. So even in the first one, there was a little bit of clarity about कौन क्या है.
हाँ, पता था.
इस फिल्म में आप ट्रेलर देखे तो ये नहीं बता सकते कि कौन विलन है, because हम चारों ही विलन हैं.
Last year 2021 has been a fabulous year for you. You had 3 films, सरदार का ग्रैंडसन, संदीप और पिंकी फरार and भूत पुलिस. और तीनों में आपका काम बहुत सराहा गया. संदीप और पिंकी फरार में खास तौर से, because it was a very strong storyline. The director was a very acclaimed director. I thought you shone in that film. You actually shone in that, and it is certainly one of the best films of your career.
Thank you. Yeah, I do believe that also.
Great team. Has something changed in the way you're choosing scripts now?
So Sandeep aur Pinky Farhar is not a new selection. It's a film that I was doing, which I committed to doing, and I was excited to do for the simple reason मैं वो इंसान हूँ जो मानता हूँ कि अगर मैं मुबारका कर सकता हूँ अनीस बज़मी के साथ, मैं हाफ गर्लफ्रेंड कर सकता हूँ मोहित सूरी के साथ, तो मैं संदीप और पिंकी फरार कर सकता हूँ दिवाकर बैनर्जी के साथ. So if I may say my learning out of Sandeep और पिंकी फरार success or the adulation, and by success I'm not talking about box office, it's just मैं हाल ही में कुत्ते के लिए शूटिंग करा था नसीर सर के साथ, और नसीर सर के साथ फाइंडिंग फानी कर चुका हूँ. जब वो पहले दिन आए सेट पे तो कुमुद सर और नसीर सर के साथ मेरा सीन था. अब मैं नसीरुद्दीन शाह को मिलने, तो आप गले मिलने जाओगे नहीं सीधा, तो मैंने हाथ बढ़ाया, हालांकि मैं उनको जानता हूँ. मुझे उन्होंने गले लगा लिया और उन्होंने कहा यार मैंने तेरी दिवाकर की फिल्म देखी, बहुत अच्छा काम किया. तो कहीं ना कहीं आत्मविश्वास आता है उससे कि यार यू आर हेडिंग इन द राइट डायरेक्शन.
And you know, Arjun, also before turning into an actor, you were an AD for a long time, and that would have also given you a skill set that made you understand a lot about production, direction, and performances, and your.
Shifting focus to Kerala now, where a piece of breaking news coming in. RSS activist Jimnesh has collapsed and died in Kannur. This happened a day after engaging in clashes with the CPM workers. RSS has blamed the CPM for this death. Manu Bharat is joining me on the phone line. He is of News18 Kerala. Manu Bharat, go ahead, give us the details.
The RSS worker Jimnesh collapsed sometime the early hours of this morning. Yesterday there was clashes between the RSS and the CPM workers at a place called place near Pinarai. There was the area conference of Balasangam was taking place over there, and then they had clashes with a team of RSS workers who were coming after the Guru Dakshina function. This incident exactly happened in near Panamunda school where the function was taking place. So the RSS has alleged that the worker has collapsed because he was attacked by the CPM workers yesterday, though his external injuries were not there, and he did not get medical attention, or he did not go for medical attention because the external injuries were not big, but after midnight he collapsed. So this reason must be because of the attack of the CPM workers. This issue happened round about 5:45, and the police is trying to investigate the case. Anyway, the police has not, for the time being, clarified that the RSS worker has died due to the attack. But we are waiting for the medical report. What the doctors are about to say.
All right, Manu. Thank you so much for joining us. We are slipping into a short break, ladies and gentlemen.
CNN News 18 is New India's #1 news choice. Unprecedented 13-week leadership.
जिस तरह वो औरतों को रोमांस करते शायद इसीलिए कर पाते हैं because वो genuinely उनको value करते हैं. And I'm sure you've interacted with him. When Shah Rukh Khan speaks to you, he's talking to you.
Yeah, totally.
The way he engages with you. And Shah Rukh Khan is blessed with oratory skills. You know, जिस तरह वो बात करते हैं और एक अपनापन महसूस कराते हैं. आपकी आंखों के अंदर झांक के देख सकते हैं. आज भी मैं उनके घर कभी जाता हूँ तो वो बाहर तक आके दरवाजा खोल के मुझे गाड़ी में बैठाते हैं and I'm saying women specifically because I think that's very important for young people to know that man is one of the biggest stars this world will ever see.
World will ever see, yeah.
But just the fact that he has that understanding of how to be different with a man and a woman shows his upbringing, his culture, his thought process. And if you can imbibe on camera तो आप सैकड़ों, लेकिन off camera अगर शाहरुख खान से कुछ सीखना है तो बस वही सीखो कि किस तरह वो औरतों के साथ बर्ताव करते हैं. And that is why he's the most charming man in the world. Saif, Saif is he's a child. He's a mad genius.
Yeah, actually, he's a man child.
He's got eccentricities in him as an actor, which come from a place of him also as a person having that. Very feisty actor to work with because you can never predict what he'll do, and that's amazing. On camera ho ya off camera, the one thing that I love about Saif is he's seen so much failure, you know.
So much failure, yeah.
And
right.
he's not bothered by it. He's not. He's moved into that stage in life, or perhaps he's achieved so much in life despite the failures that he's fought back every time, and he knows he's got that inner confidence and he's got that inner ease. There's a personal style. He's never imitated anybody. You know, people who made fun of his voice and all today love his voice.
Totally.
People who thought he looked so different today, he's one of the most good-looking men.
Yes.
So Saif Ali Khan has remained himself, enigmatic in a way.
True.
And he's attracted on the merit of his talent versus trying to go out there and do PR or try to position himself for posture. So that's a 25, 30-year career now. It's amazing, and that's something I would love to also replicate. You shouldn't chase. You should just have that aura that people come towards you for the work that you do and the way you are as a person.
I don't ask personal questions, but congratulations on a beautiful professional life that personal life that you're enjoying, and I hope to see you in a lot of good projects that back your talent, that back your ambition, and your view of your future.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Rishi was born in England, in Southampton, I'm told, but his family comes from the Punjab, proper Punjab, all right? So he's got his antecedents, he's got his relatives, and they're all there and they're all cheering. Here's one of them. Balbir, hi, and firstly, how are you related to Rishi?
Hey, sunuk sunuk sung sunuk sunuk sung sunuk sunuk sung sara ra ha sunuk sunuk sung sunuk sunuk sung sunuk sunuk sung sara ra sunuk sunuk sung.
It's the end of Rule Britannia. Rule Britannia! Sunak 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 sunak. Just gone. The world is changing. Nice touch, sir. Nice touch. Sorry to butt in though, of course, but can you tell us how you, Balbir, are related to Rishi Sunak?
Oh, Veere, I am his chachi's second cousin's uncle by marriages, daughters, closest friends in school, mother's third cousin, sister-in-laws, stepbrothers, adopted.
Okay, I think I get it. That's fine, that's fine.
Neighbors, Fufa's grandmother, second cousins, half-brothers, illegitimate sons, first wives, incubator babies, nephews, cousins, uncles, sisters. Oh, Veere, yaar, मैं खुद confused हो गया.
Okay, it's very unnecessary. I understand there's no blood relation whatsoever. I understand that. Let's just get to the point. You know him vaguely. Anyone else interested in this connection, please Google Rishi Sunak and Balbir. We don't have time on this show. Balbir.
Oh, Veere, it's Balbi. R is silent, R is silent.
I've grown up with Punjabis. There's nobody called Balbir who becomes Balbi unless he's in France and they decide not to say the last letter. Balbi. What the hell's going on? Okay, all right. Let's just move on to the main question, which is the village that you are from is called what?
Oh, Chota Jalandhar.
Chota Jalandhar?
Commonly known as Southampton.
Southampton, Hampshire, southern England.
Or Western Punjab, Veere, Western Punjab.
That's actually quite intelligent. I like that. That's correct. Of course, inaccurate geographically, but we won't get into it. This is getting nowhere. Let's get to the main questions.
Oh, go ahead, yaar. Puchna. Sut de. Oh, Rishi and I grew up together, yaar. I know everything about him. Intimate details, Veere.
Intimate details such as?
Oh, he bowls left-handed but throws right-handed. He's good at bhangna but only can put up one leg like this.
But everyone can only put one leg up at a time. If you put both legs up simultaneously, you will fall.
Exactly, Veere. That's what happened to Boris Johnson.
Achha, you set me up for that. Excellent. Well done, sir. Well played. Left hand and right hand together. Coming to that, they were once best mates, Rishi and Boris, and now hate each other.
Oh, hello, oi.
Welcome Welcome back. There has been a case of communal conspiracy which has been unearthed in Bijnor in Uttar Pradesh. Two brothers have been arrested for trying to incite communal tension by wearing saffron clothes and indulging in ransacking a mazar in Bijnor. Let's listen in to what ADGP of UP had to say.
शेरकोट कस्बे के जलाल शाह की मजार पे कुछ लोगों ने तोड़फोड़ की तथा वहां की चादरें जलाई। पुलिस वहां तत्काल मौके पर पहुंची। तब तक ये खबर आई कि शेरकोट थाना अंतर्गत ही भूरे शाह की मजार पे भी इसी तरह की घटना हुई है। इस पे स्थानीय लोगों के साथ पुलिस ने तुरंत सर्च ऑपरेशन चलाया तथा दो व्यक्तियों को, जिनका नाम क्रमशः कमाल और आदिल है, गिरफ्तार किया गया।
Pranshu Mishra is tracking the story and he joins me live from Lucknow. Pranshu, so what exactly is the police saying? Why did these two individuals actually go ahead and pose themselves as coming from a religion? They wanted to showcase that they are perhaps from the majority community. What exactly was the conspiracy behind this?
Well, see, at the moment, both Kamal and Adil are being questioned, but what prima facie, the input from the interrogation is that, it was a sheer intent to spread communal disharmony, create unrest on the lines of religion, and that's the reason why these two boys from the Muslim community masqueraded with a Hindu identity and indulged in vandalizing 3 Sufi mazars in that area. Now, the only saving point was that they were immediately nabbed in, they were identified by the locals, arrested by the police, and therefore a larger mishap was, averted. But there clearly seems to be a pattern over such of this fashion, and of late we have at least 3 such instances where there has been a similar trend. Very recently, we all know that how in Kannauj, communal tensions have sparked out and violence has erupted after certain people whose identity is still not clear have thrown, have desecrated the religious places, after which violence has taken place. Also, if you recall, in Ayodhya a couple of months back, there were certain Hindu boys who were masquerading with a Muslim identity and have tried to defile the religious places, the mosque in that case. Now they were again arrested and Ayodhya was saved from being thrown into communal frenzy. So I think the sort of communal, sensitivity which we are seeing in Uttar Pradesh at the moment, that is giving some sort of encouragement or provocation to anti-social elements to try and, create communal disharmony. That was again the case in the case of Bijnor, where Muslim boys tried to have a Hindu identity and defile the particular places, but they were arrested and the city was safe from, facing any sort of communal riot. But it clearly is a very dangerous situation, and UP police clearly needs to be on more guard as far as other sensitive districts are concerned.
Pranshu, the question is, what is the reason why these two youth actually went ahead with this kind of appearance? What did they actually want to do? In fact, we are going straight to Doordarshan, where there's a piece of news that is coming in now.
कुछ ही देर में राष्ट्रपति भवन में होगा ये संसद भवन का दृश्य, जहां से गण्यमान्य व्यक्ति राष्ट्रपति भवन की ओर प्रस्थान करते हुए
the circular Parliament Hall, we just saw images of that, the historic Vijay Chowk, here we are, the Raisina Hill, all having borne silent testimony to our history of how power has transitioned, about how mantles have been taken over and given away, how decisions are taken on which the future of the nation depends, and they have been witness to all this over the years.
सभी गण्यमान्य व्यक्ति राष्ट्रपति भवन पहुंचकर देश की 15वीं राष्ट्रपति का अभिवादन करेंगे। अंतर्गात सेना तैनात है।
An inter-services guard of honor here stationed right in the center of the forecourt. The gently tinkling fountains on either side of your screen, adding to the ceremonial air, the gentle tinkling of water down, all a very, very beautiful, serene and gracious surrounding as the frame of this event.
बीचों बीच जयपुर कॉलम या जयपुर स्तंभ 145 फीट ऊंचा है और इधर राष्ट्रपति भवन के प्रांगण में धीरे धीरे बढ़ता हुआ कारों का काफिला और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी का आगमन। ऐतिहासिक अवसर देश की प्रथम आदिवासी महिला ने आज देश के 15वें राष्ट्रपति के तौर पर शपथ ली है, पदभार संभाला है और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी का राष्ट्रपति भवन के प्रांगण में आगमन।
The head of governance of the largest democracy in the world has arrived here to greet and felicitate the constitutional head of the largest democracy in the world. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived here.
उपराष्ट्रपति और राज्यसभा के सभापति श्री वेंकैया नायडू का आगमन।
Prime Venkaiah Naidu taking his seat next to the Prime Minister. There are some very few family members also of the new president here in the audience. People have come from her village, some of them, very few, small number of invitees. Our new president is a simple lady, and I think simplicity is going to be her strength. We have in the audience BJP MLAs from Mayurbhanj district. We also have union ministers, members of parliament, to make President Droupadi Murmu's day all the more special.
उपराष्ट्रपति, प्रधानमंत्री और देश के गण्यमान्य व्यक्ति इस समय राष्ट्रपति भवन में मौजूद हैं नए राष्ट्रपति का स्वागत करने के लिए।
And that's the strength of our democracy. When our new president represents all sections of society, marginalized and mainstream, and to ensure that the marginalized are mainstreamed. That's the true success of democracy. A democracy that continues to revitalize itself, to grow, and to take in its ambit inclusion as its strongest value. Though there are myriad ways of exhibiting inclusion, today's ceremony, Srimati Murmu's election as the President of India, is a prime example.
देश की नई राष्ट्रपति का जीवन, जैसा कि हम सब जानते हैं, संघर्ष का पर्याय है और बहुत बड़ा संदेश है उन सब के लिए जो कभी-कभी संघर्षों में विचलित होने लगते हैं। संदेश यही है जो उन्होंने अपने जीवन से दिया है कि संघर्ष लगातार करना है और उसके बावजूद कल कौन सी जिम्मेदारी मिलेगी इसकी चिंता किए बगैर अपना काम, अपना कर्तव्य, उसका निर्वहन करना है। देश के सर्वोच्च संवैधानिक पद पर देश की आदिवासी महिला को प्रथम नागरिक बनने तक का जो अवसर मिला है, वो महिलाओं के लिए, बालिकाओं के लिए और हर देशवासी के लिए प्रेरणा का स्रोत है। माननीय राष्ट्रपति जी राष्ट्रपति भवन के प्रांगण की ओर अब प्रस्थान कर रही हैं।
A special day also today for the state of Jharkhand. The moment Srimati Murmu's victory was announced, there were celebrations everywhere, and I'm sure today also the state will be celebrating in a very, very special way, and of course a proud moment for all. This is the North Court of Rashtrapati Bhavan. Again, you can see the combination of pink and cream sandstone and beautifully sculpted stone. And the President's limousine, President's cars make their way towards the forecourt, where the Vice President, the Prime Minister, the three service chiefs, and of course cabinet ministers are assembled and waiting for her.
इतिहास में दर्ज होते हुए ये क्षण, ये पल देश की 15वीं राष्ट्रपति
And now the inspection of the Guard of Honor.
अंतर सेना सम्मान कार्ड निरीक्षण के लिए अधिरत।
और अब अंतर सेना कारत का निरीक्षण माननीय राष्ट्रपति जी द्वारा। अंतर सेना गारद का निरीक्षण संपन्न। राष्ट्रपति तीनों सेनाओं के सर्वोच्च कमांडर होते हैं। माननीय राष्ट्रपति द्वारा ये निरीक्षण हुआ और अब अभिवादन स्वीकार करते हुए यहाँ उपस्थित गण्यमान्य व्यक्ति।
As the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, the President of India, Srimati Droupadi Murmu, inspects her first Guard of Honor. And now alights at the saluting base here at the forecourt of Rashtrapati Bhavan to be greeted, to be wished and to intermingle with the dignitaries present here. Taking her leave, the President, after being wished by all here, boards a vehicle.
Too, she seems innocent and docile and harmless, but she can take you for a ride.
So I feel like this is Sita and Geeta in one.
In one.
This is
Yes.
your chalbaz.
But she is like Geeta's the Shararti one, na? But she is Geeta pretending to be Sita.
There you go. So it's both in one.
Yeah.
You feel like it's a tribute to mom, or is everything you do a tribute to mom?
I don't know about tribute, but everything I do is for mom.
Cute.
Yeah.
So when you chose this film, who was your biggest support? Like who said, Janvi, go for it. I think you're going to be great in this.
My dad. We saw the original, but like honestly, he's my dad, so he thinks I'll be great in everything.
Of course, yeah.
But when I saw the film and when I heard the narration, I was very excited to play a character that, you know, who's basically a paradox. And essentially, I think she's morally right, but also kind of grey. Like she's doing unethical things for an ethical reason.
The Tamil one is done by Nayanthara. I won't ask you if you watched. I know you have. No comparison. But I'm saying as an actor, because of the body of work she has, she's doing a 75th film. She's this fairly late in her career.
My 5th.
Yeah. And the point is she already has this image, right? Like as a strong, independent woman. And then she went and did this like innocent role. And then she came out as strong. It was a different arc for her, movie-wise, and even IRL. For you, you know, to come into this film, of course, you're daunting, no doubt. But it's different for you. You know, you get to play this bully girl who's also this so early on in your career. How does that translate for you?
I think that's what was so exciting for me. I can't, I'm here to act. I'm here to do as many different characters as possible. I don't think there's a timeline ke if I get something exciting, I'm not going to pass on it and be like, nahi, abhi bahut soon hai. Main 3 saal baad wait karke phir ye karungi. Firstly, I don't know how to be calculative about anything like that. Secondly, I think this might contribute to the reason of me biting off sometimes more than I can chew. But if I'm not faced with a challenge, things are unexciting for me. And this film was a challenge.
Your mom was very particular. I remember it was very cute how you said that. She said your mascara needs to be proper in Dhadak, you know. What would, you know, she have said about your performance or your style? What would, you know, what do you think her style tips to you would be?
I think her tips would have been to stay true to the character, which is what I've tried to do. Even what she said about the mascara, I think people misconstrued it. I think what she did try to say was, you could tell that I was wearing mascara and you shouldn't be able to for the character that I'm playing. I think she wouldn't have any of those concerns in Jerry because apart from the freckles that they've put on my face, I'm wearing almost nothing.
Because people come and go, but the country forever is on the move, is always there, is constant. And as the largest reservoir of human resource in the world today, with the youngest population, India has a huge role to play.
पूर्व राष्ट्रपति श्री रामनाथ कोविंद की पत्नी श्रीमती सविता कोविंद राष्ट्रपति भवन से प्रस्थान कर रही हैं। पूर्व राष्ट्रपति श्री रामनाथ कोविंद का अब नया निवास 12 जनपथ होगा।
I'm sure it's a sentimental and a nostalgic moment for the family of the former president. 5 eventful years, 5 years of eventful memories have been made here. And the show must go on.
बदलाव प्रकृति का नियम है। एक कार्यकाल पूरा होता है, दूसरा प्रारंभ। और आज ये सब हम सब ने देखा पूरी भव्यता के साथ, और हम आज इस महत्वपूर्ण अवसर पर इस घटना के साक्षी बने।
The engines of democracy carry on.
जब दिन निकला था तो उस समय लग रहा था कि बारिश किसी भी समय हो सकती है, लेकिन अब इस समय धूप बीच बीच में जब भी निकल रही है बादलों में से, काफी तेज उमस से भरा दिन। बारिश शायद कभी भी आए, लेकिन फिलहाल इस समय यहां राष्ट्रपति भवन में गतिविधियां लगातार जारी हैं। वर्तमान राष्ट्रपति के साथ पूर्व राष्ट्रपति,
the predecessor and the successor, our former president and the current president, both together, and will now go to the dignitaries there at the forecourt, the central part of the forecourt. It's been a hectic day for everyone here at Rashtrapati Bhavan. A lot of preparations, making sure everything is in order as per protocol to be followed. Lots of activity happening.
पूरा कार्यक्रम इस तरह से होता है कि आप घड़ियां मिला सकते हैं